It has started. Hold on, I gotta post some links. You're early and ready. Hold on. I guess this works, right? Okay, we got some links. Alright, I think we're good. We'll have to do we gotta figure out what Johnny we're gonna do. I suppose I could look at him again. Okay, well, we'll get into it. Easy. How are you doing, Brent? How's your day going? Sorry for that brain lag there. Okay. I guess I can pull up this. I'm gonna be using this. Happy Saturday and welcome everyone. We are hot off the heels of beating not one, not two, not even three, but 36 36 Johnny games. And what better way to celebrate than to get in the mind of Kim himself. We're going to take the skeleton of a Johnny project and try to endeavor to make our own Johnny Fangame. For anyone that wants to follow along, I have Gamemaker 8.2, which you can install, and I also have the decompiled Johnny projects except for 2 to 4 that we are going to use as a skeleton. How do you feel? Do you feel like a god yet? I don't feel like a god, but goddamn, do I feel good after getting those games done. Now, we don't technically know what we have in store, man, because, like, the fan games could be worse. They could be better. Is Cody going to have to decompile the fan games to beat them? Or are they going to be more playable? Like, I don't know, dude. I haven't even seen them. Especially the stuff that Noli's been recommending. We got the Adventures of Great Mike, the Great Adventures of Mike, the Adventures of Big Mike, Great Mike, Something Mike, Sally. There's like 5 Johnny games under the Johnny title. Johnny's Nightmare, Johnny 37. There's a bunch of them. So we'll probably play those tomorrow. I say play those tomorrow as if to imply we're going to get them all done tomorrow. But if they're anything like Johnny was, there is no way we're going to get them done in one day. But I figure we could celebrate, sort of wind down and shift gears towards the creativity aspect of the stream here. That's my thought. That's kind of what I'm thinking of doing. So we'll give it a shot. I don't know how long this is going to take. I don't know how long it's going to take to make a Johnny game. I don't know how many things I'm going to cover. I think it's going to be whimsical. We're going to let it unfold as fire to paper, just a folded piece of paper, origami. I don't know. Whatever. It's going to happen. I'm going to make some shapes. We're going to see. I'm going to learn Gamemaker 8.2 with you guys because it's been like more than 10 years since I've even used Gamemaker 8, and this is 8.2. Kinda crazy. Alright, I think I'm going to use this square here so you guys can actually see my full screen. So anybody, I'm sorry if it's slightly reduced in size for anybody that's squinting at their phone to do this. You're going to have to pull it up on the big screen. Pull it up on the Jumbo TV. Alright, so we'll just get into it. I'm gonna play with it. You guys can join in later, whatever you want to do. First thing you gotta do, install Gamemaker 8.2. It's free. Downloads pretty simple. You can get the portable version or the setup wizard, whatever. And this is actually great timing too because they just gave the Johnny panel some aesthetic styling as of August 3rd, so last month. Yeah, last month pretty much. About a month ago. A month ago they gave the Johnny panel its own styling, so we're going to see a little Johnny in the top right. So what better way to celebrate than a month later to make a Johnny fan game? It's going to be great. All right, so the first thing we have to decide is What skeleton are we gonna use for our Johnny Fangame? Okay, there's there's not 36. There are 32 to choose from. There are 32 to choose from. We can pick any of them. Is there one that I like more than the others? Yeah, there's quite a bit. But which do I want to do is an even better question. I think I'm going to end up taking one of the later Johnnies, maybe. Or should I do like Johnny 25 or something? Let me try to remember what Johnny 25 had. Give me a second. Let's look at it. Oh my, okay. Never mind. Johnny 25 is... We're not doing that. What about, is it Johnny 26? I'm looking, I think what I want is I want one with a nose lengthening, I want one with a shrink ability, and I want one, oh, this is nipple stimulation. Okay, great. Is this, no. I swear one of the Johnnies had a, is it 27? I remember 27 being bad, right? 27 is horrible? I can't remember. One of these is pretty good. It's like in the 20s. A lot of these all look terrible. Oh, here we go. This one has super jump. It has shrink. It does not have the nose, though. The super jump was a good ability. Oh, yeah, this one sucked. I hate that platforming, bro. I need, like, a timeline of all the Johnnies. Maybe it's, like, 21 or something. He does have, like, there's an ebb and flow of, like, bad, good. Like, we should probably do a tier list for all the Johnnies. Oh no, Johnny, what do you do? Does this one have the... I want one with the hovering, basically. I'm gonna use whatever bad... Oh, this one's got hovering. Oh, maybe we can make it work. Oh yeah, we can make this work. I love this terrible hovering mechanic. Oh yeah, oh, okay, this is perfect. This is terribly perfect. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, so we're gonna do the hovering mechanic. We're gonna do Johnny 21. Yeah, 26 was a good one. Yeah, I think 26 was a good one. If anyone is qualified to make a Johnny tier list, you would be one of the few. Yes, so I'll do a Johnny tier list, but I gotta refamiliarize myself with each of them. I think I have to probably write like a small review on each, cause like I'm not gonna remember the entire thing without scrubbing the footage. So we need a set of 36 Johnny trading cards with all of Johnny's stats, like a baseball thing on it. You know, he's got his shrink nose in this one. The collision was whatever in this one. I think I'm gonna do, so we're gonna do 21. So here, let's copy this and then let's make a new folder. How do I do new folder in this? Okay, here we go. We're gonna do Johnny. There's already a Johnny 37, so why don't we do Johnny 0 Fangame? That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the prequels of the Johnny games, and then they devolve after that. That would be pretty fitting for Kim, right? I think he'd appreciate that. And we're gonna do all our own sprites too, so we're gonna delete a bunch of this stuff in here. Okay, this is perfect. It doesn't have a lot of stuff in here. Great. And how many rooms? Okay, yeah, I see them all. Nice. Okay, so what do we want to do first? Well, I haven't used Gamemaker in, well, Gamemaker 8 in years. And I think the thing I'm most unfamiliar with is I don't understand the old thing. I'm pretty sure you have to, like, yeah, you have to select a thing and click it in there, but you can't click it once you have it. Can I, like, change position? Yeah, it's like, you can't, like, click and grab. It's not easy, like the new stuff. You gotta commit to your placement. Once you place these guys in here, they're there. You can't reselect them and bring them back, so it's a little weird. It's gonna take a little bit of getting used to that, but we got our grid snap somewhere. Yep, okay, we'll figure it out. No. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna get into it. First thing we need to do is take a look at Johnny's code, and then we need to delete everything we don't need. So let's look at what Johnny's got here. Is this when he has the parent masking? I think it is. I can't tell. Are these just solid, or how do platforms work? Okay, yeah, these are solids. Okay, so he's using some built-in Gamemaker stuff here. We're gonna continue in the same vein. I don't care if it's jank or it's terrible. We're gonna take whatever piecemeal Johnny jank we have and fashion a game from it. That's what I want to do. But it's going to be entirely our own, and we're going to add some mechanics. This one doesn't have the nose lengthening, so we're going to have to add that ourselves. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to use a mix of drag and drop and code. It's going to be a beautiful mishmash of nightmare stuff. Okay, so this is how we do code. Okay, we have control. Remember that tab. And then I think he does he do movement with... All right. Oh, he has code for movement. Oh, yeah, that's right. He's applying a flat variable to it. Oh, God. Okay, well, we're going to use it. We're going to make it work. It's going to be terrible, but... All right. So, for any new game makers out here, let's explain some of what we're looking at here. Before I start deleting a bunch of stuff here. So, what you have is you obviously have your sprites. If you want to make a new sprite, you should just be able to right-click and click... Never mind. You click this button. Create a sprite. Boom. We create a new sprite. We're going to start by creating our own Johnny. I like to name everything with SPR for sprites as the naming convention. You can do whatever you want. As long as you know how to reference it, that's cool. And then let's look at how big Johnny is, because I want to kind of get the same vibe. So he's 140 by 110. Why don't we do something like that? What do we have here? So we can go to... Oh, wait. How do we... I guess we edit sprite. And then we're going to add a frame. Okay, add a frame. And then image. Resize canvas. Okay, this is where we can define our canvas. So he's like wider than he is whatever. So we're going to do like 160, and then we're going to do like 100, and we're going to see what that looks like. Okay, this is like a Johnny box. That's what we have here. Do you know if these projects can be compiled in the modern Gamemaker? Yeah, they can, I think. I think if you take the GMKs and you... Honestly, let's test it, Brent. Why not? What the hell am I doing today? It's Saturday. I can do whatever I want. Let's give it a shot. Good question. I would like to do it in 8.2 to show that 8.2 works. But yeah, you probably could open a modern Johnny. Open a modern Johnny. Wait, let me paste this outside of here so we're not addressing the same file. Can I open this in like this? Can you give me 2 seconds? Give me 2 seconds. Import. Just want to make sure I'm not showing all the secret files on my computer now. Alright, Johnny. Where is he at? Come on, Johnny. There, Johnny. So Gamemaker likes GMZ, YYZ, and GMX. In that case... we need to open Gamemaker Studio 1. Oh god, I don't have it installed. Yeah, I think what you have to do, I'm not going to do it on this stream, but I think what you'll have to do is I think you'll have to take it. Yeah, you want to use the current version of Gamemaker. Okay, no big deal. That is definitely possible. I'm pretty positive it's possible. I think what you have to do, though, is you're going to end up having to take these old files. Actually, good question. Can we save these out? You can create executable and save as 8 and 8.2. That's a good question. Assuming, well, actually, hold on. Do I have some decompiling tools from Renix, I think? GM8 to up. X Blender export. There must be a way to do it. There's got to be a way to do it. See your project on Bugger. I think there's a way to do it. I think you may have to take Gamemaker Studio 1, import the project file, and then after you save that out, after it's converted, go to open that up in Gamemaker Studio 2. I think that's how we would have to do it. I'll look into that after the stream, because I also would like to do a Johnny game in the modern architecture without 8.2, but for the sake of this stream, and since all of this stuff is openable in 8.2 as it is, I'm going to just play around in here for a bit. But yeah, if you are going to make a Johnny Fangame, perfect. I wanted to emulate perfectly the Johnny movement with the jank of Gamemaker 8, so that's kind of what I'm aiming for here. But I think you could do it. You just have to make sure to get like the code aspects of it in modern Gamemaker. So, all right. So, anyways, we're gonna start our sprite. Let's make a Johnny sprite. This is the most quintessential and important sprite in a Johnny series, is to make Johnny. Now, I imagine when Kim made Johnny, it was just something from the heart. And so we're going to follow in the same vein. I'm going to pick a skin color. And then we're going to run with it. It's a little orange here. Obviously, you know what? All of these games are in some capacity made with heart. So that's what we're going to try to emulate. First off, my favorite part of every Johnny game is his big-ass nose. And then I'm sure we have some kind of circular head. Oh, no, we don't need that. There we go. Nice. Nice. Let's see. Should I make this another pleasing shape? If we do like a... Oh, no, I don't like that. It's angles. Johnny's all about angles. He doesn't really have a neck in all games. But we should do a neck. And then... just feel it out. Let's just feel out the Johnny. Let's give him a shot. Actually, I would like to be able to... Would I like to be able to do that? To sort of lock on his back? Actually, that's a great idea. Let's do that. Let's do... Mine's going to be an adventuring Johnny. So he's going to have this here, and then we're going to do a backpack. We're going to give our Johnny a backpack. Some sort of backpack leather color here. Oh, I got to move him over. Thank goodness that the Gamemaker hotkeys are consistent between all game makers. This is a breeze. My Johnny's got a backpack. Look at that. Cover that in. He obviously needs his bedroll, so maybe we'll make it like a army green. Perfect. Let's zoom in here. Can't go hiking without a bedroll. Oop. Something like that. Yeah. We'll set it and forget it. Actually, I don't... Ooh, no, we don't want anti-aliasing. How do we do that? Oh, hardness. Make it hard as possible. Only hard for us here. Nice. Okay, I want to change his... We're going to do it. Do the line. Can't give him such a broad chest. Does that look a little weird? I don't know. Maybe I'm being too much of a perfectionist. Maybe that's the problem. I doubt Johnny game. Oh, you can't actually. You have to do it by hand. Oh, that's weird. Okay. All right. Looking pretty good so far. I'm liking him. Bring this out here. He has his quintessential eye. So we got to draw that. Looks great. Let's do this. Nice. Perhaps we're going to add even a little bit of nostrils, dude. That's something we haven't seen in a Johnny game. Nostrils. He also has his staple shit-eating grin. I should probably add that. Yeah, there we go. Look at that, dude. No, look at it. Whoa, it's so accurate. Kim, is that you? This is Kim. He's reincarnating within me temporarily so that we can make this stream. Nah, I'm not going to be able to get as perfect as Kim. But we're going to do our best. Look at that, dude. Got Johnny. He's never had... Sometimes he's had hair, sometimes he hasn't. But what I am going to give him is I'm going to define... He's always had brown hair. So let's, I don't want to do this. I want to give him eyebrows, bro. Is that weird? Oh, yeah, dude. Look at him. Look at him go, bro. All right, then we can add some backpack details, since I love details on a backpack. How about this? You're going to love this, guys. Look at this. Perspective. Oh, my God. Look at him go. Holy, dude. Is this guy crazy? Oh, my God. Dude, pockets on the backpack? Look, it doesn't even need to be perfect. Look how jank that is. Oh my goodness. Look how insane. And look at the bedroll's a completely different perspective. Man, doesn't that just tilt you? Actually, I can fix it. Hold on. Look at this. We're gonna no part of him's gonna be 3D, but this part is. Look at that, dude. Look at that perspective. Holy, dude. I'm actually going crazy in this Johnny Fangame. Oh, man. Actually, wait. That's the pocket flap. We can do... Oh, my goodness. Wow. This is truly Johnesian on different levels. So I had like a little thing there. Boom! Look at him go. Already needs clothes. We can have a naked Johnny. What do you think? I'm a pervert? Come on, man. We gotta do something different. What kind of clothing is he gonna have? He's gonna be... Oh, he needs arms, too, right? I guess we can have arms. And then he needs a gun. He has to have a gun. There's so many things here. To be honest, I really like the one arm thing that he does. Maybe I should actually. Maybe we'll do both arms. Maybe we'll do both. We'll do the gun first. I always like how he has a gun, but we're gonna do something slightly different. It's gonna be childlike and whimsy. That's what I want here. So let me get a light brown color. Let me get some, and we're gonna do this here. We're gonna go that. Okay, we're gonna do, actually, yeah, that's a great idea, brain. I like that. Let's go with this. Okay. Okay. Then we're gonna, yep. Okay. Yes, you can tell. You can kind of see it forming, can't you? See what I'm aiming for here. Wizardry. Look at this. Gonna make a stick. Might as well, right? He's a wizard. He needs a wand. It'd be kind of weird to give him a real gun. And then obviously every wand is powered by, an ancient orb of some sort. So let's add an orb. Let's add an orb in here. Boom. Look at my powering orb. Look at that, dude. And then obviously he needs shading. I mean, what do you think I am, a pleb? Jesus, come on, dude. I'm a game designer. Look at that. Actually, it needs to be lighter. Look at that, dude. And what else am I getting? Obviously shading. Come on. Look at this. Game designer. Wow. Amazing. You can even have the stick sort of keep it in here. Oh, my goodness. Maybe I do like this or something. I don't know, dude. Honestly, it's whatever the hell I want it to be. It's kind of amazing. Look at that. Boom. Yeah, this makes sense. Let's, and then obviously give him some fingers. Boom, buddy. Oh, man. Honestly, I'm sorry. I know I'm rendering this a lot more than Kim ever would, but this is my Johnny Fangame, so by golly, I'm going to do whatever I want. By golly. It is going to be whatever I want it to be. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm having a little bit too much fun here. I'm sorry about the teaching aspect of this, because part of the process is feeling it out. If you're still drawing your Johnny, keep at it. Make him whatever you want him to be. Look at that. We're doing great. Johnny HD. Yeah, I was going to say, it won't be Johnny without the gun. That actually looks good, dude. Thanks. Thank you. I probably could eliminate a little bit of this here. The important thing about Johnny really is just to have fun and to not worry too much about the finer details. I mean, he's here to have fun. Ultimately, look at this. Okay, now he looks a little naked. Honestly, what is he skipping arm day? Come on, man. We know Johnny's got bigger guns than that, dude. This guy's been traversing through. This is the 21st game he's been in. He can't be missing arm day. All right, look at it. Honestly, okay, this looks a little weird. Okay, I'm gonna run with it. All right, let's give him some clothing. How do we? Oh, obviously he needs feet. As you know, Johnny doesn't have hips, so his hips cannot lie, as Jazz pointed out before. Sometimes, we're just gonna. How do I want to do that? Let's do it like this, and then oh yeah, I like this. I like the triangle feet. My favorite part of the Johnny series. How many times have I gotten stuck on platforms with those stupid feet? Oh, I'll tell you. A lot. A lot, brother. Actually, can I give him a crotch? Is this the first Johnny with a crotch? No, it looks terrible. We're not rendering Johnny's crotch. I'm sorry, guys. If you came for that, well, I'm sorry. It's not gonna happen. I changed my mind. Am I gonna get him thick thighs? I don't know. Maybe. It just looks. It doesn't look Johnny. He needs this long skirt thing. That's what makes a Johnny a Johnny. Maybe it's just a little too short though. There we go. Okay, that looks better. That looks better. Loving this perspective. I can't. I'm gonna move it in one. There we go. Maybe move this in one. I'm trying to hit the arrow keys. It doesn't work. I didn't realize they added that in future game makers. What a godsend. Alright, he obviously needs like a green vest or something. I mean, what else is he going to traverse in? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense. Let's, too big. How about this? This looks like right. Maybe like that. Whoa, Johnny, please. Oh, that's right. I need to draw his arm over here. Look at that. Perfect. Oh my goodness. He looks real, dude. He looks tangible. He looks like a Johnny. My very own personal Johnny. Look at that. Perfectly Johnny in every way. Wow, dude. Do I give him pants too? That would be pretty funny, right? To have pants just here. But his thing is so long you can't even see him. Actually, we're going to do that. I like that. He's got pants, but he ain't got no ass, so it's a perfect Johnny. Make those a better color. Can we get like a denim saturation? A little bit better. He's barefoot. Obviously, my Johnny has to be barefoot, which means inexplicably. Actually, I changed my mind. These are going to be rendered. Look at that. Wait, his big toe would... There we go. Oh, yeah. Changed my mind. We're going to do big toes. Nice. Barefoot Johnny. What else could he possibly be? He's a traveler. Traveling Johnny obviously is an adventurer. There's no way. He'd have to be. Draw some sleeves here. Look at that. Obviously every vest has pockets too. Can't not have pockets. Perfect. Look at that, dude. Alright, we spent quite a bit of time on Johnny, but like I said, it's the most important part of every Johnny game. Okay, if you don't have him himself, you know, then why even making a Johnny game? He's got to be completely Johnny. That. And then we can also draw this arm over here. Darker color. Oh my god, look at that. Beautiful. Doesn't even gotta be perfect. Just gotta have fun with it. Actually, I don't like that. I changed my mind. I like the default color. Okay. This is our Johnny. This is what we're working with. I feel like his feet should be a little bigger. Okay. Beautiful. Amazing work. Truly awe-inspiring. Feet are mismatched. I love it. This is my Johnny. Alright. Well, we have our Johnny. We make sure he has precise collision checking, the most important part of Johnny. If he doesn't have precise collision checking, you ain't even making a Johnny game, to be honest. All right, now first thing we need to do is replace the previous Johnny by selecting our sprite, SPR Johnny. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're actually going to check what we have here. So we have a room title, and what does that do? Oh, okay, what is this? Object title. I'm assuming that's some sort of menu code. Object title. What does this do? As you press the L key, you load Johnny. You press the N key, you go to next. Okay. We'll keep that the same for now. It doesn't matter. What we need to do is create a new world that Johnny can inhabit. I'm not gonna totally retread over Kim's steps. We're gonna have, let's duplicate this room. Actually, then we're gonna delete all the other rooms. I don't want any of them. Is this just the end of the game? Yeah, okay. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna delete everything else, and we're gonna create a whole new thing. So get rid of the end. Delete. Yeah. If I need any of this stuff later, I'll come back to it. But I don't think I do. I just want the base room. Yeah, we got one room here. And the rest of the stuff we're deleting and starting over. I can't. Oh no. I can't select more than one? Oh my god. Alright, well. Oh, shift delete is a thing. I could do that. Alright. Shift delete. And then I gotta hit enter. Okay, wait. How do I do this fast? Oh, no. Yeah. Johnny games are not about perfection. It's about using what you can to make it work. Okay. Now that's good. All right, we're gonna the objects we got to do last. Okay, these? Okay, these guys are just monsters. What is a separate collision mask? Oh. Wait, does Johnny have a separate collision mask? Oh, okay. Alright, we gotta make sure this is right. So hold on. Separate collision mask, modify, automatic. Oh, that's what we need to do. We need to make sure Johnny actually from like here, I think. Okay. Nice origin. Okay. And then I think we can delete the rest of this stuff. We need what I want to do. So the things I want to keep, we're keeping Johnny. We're keeping a couple basic things in here. Enemy 1. Okay, we can keep one enemy. We can delete the other enemies. I'm gonna make my own enemies, and I'm just gonna reference their code loosely, and then I'm gonna do whatever I want after that. I don't really think I need any of this stuff. Object title. Okay, we need object title, so let's put that over here. All of these just look like enemies. I could keep a boss. Let's keep the boss. Where am I? I'm going to keep enemy 1. I'm going to keep the boss. I'm going to keep the boss. Shoot. Object end text. We can keep some of the basic stuff. Sound stop. Let's just get rid of the extra enemies for now. So let's get rid of this. Shift delete. Enter. There's one boss here. I'm keeping boss 2. I don't care about boss 1. I'm sure I can find my own jank without... I mean, I can figure it out. I've made a game before. This isn't my first rodeo. Okay, we kind of got that pared down. Let's get rid of some of the other things here. So we got object 1. We don't need that. If I delete anything that's terrible, that you know, whatever. We'll deal with it. I just want my project to be cleaner. Okay, boss. Okay, that. I'll get rid of these. Okay, I think we pared it down. Pretty good. Okay, now that we got some of that stuff carved away, let's make our... Yeah, save that. We're going to make our first enemy. The first enemy in our Johnny game. That's what we need to do next. So this kind of... Actually, wait, before we do that, we should probably make a room. Yeah, let's make a room. So let's delete this. Delete these guys. This is our object win, right? Okay. Delete that for now. I don't like this background. It's ugly. All these backgrounds are ugly. Every Johnny background has been a hot mess. Okay. It's been a hot mess. Good morning, Heather. Are you here to learn how to make a Johnny game with us? I hope you're doing well. How are you doing? We are endeavoring to make our own Johnny game. All right, let's check what our collision looks like. Let me place a couple bars around here. I want to really get into the mind of seeing what our Johnny game plays like first. So let's run it. Failed to replace the icon. Okay, well, whatever. Sure, I'm doing good. Pumping. Pumping what? Okay, we're here. This is our Johnny game. Look at that, dude. And we have our delicious hovering mechanic that works absolutely perfectly. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. My gun kind of gets in the way a little bit. Okay. Okay. We can make it work though. Oh yeah, we can make it work. I guess if Johnny has like a flat side. Okay, okay. We see something. Oh, nice. I want to do that too if I ever make a Johnny game. Pump and milk. Ah, gotcha. Pump and milk. Gotcha. How is that guy? How is that going? When do you guys have a new estimate of when you actually get your kid mail order delivered or what? Out of the NICU. All right, so now that we have that, to be honest, dude, I hate to say it, man, but I don't think his nose is long enough. I'm gonna be honest. I hate to size shame a guy, but like, it's just not big enough. It's just not. Actually, there's an even better solution for this. Here's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do first. We're gonna duplicate Johnny, and we're gonna be Johnny, and then how do we want to do this? We want to name it Nosin. That's what we're calling it. When he nosin. Okay, perfect. We're gonna edit the sprite, and then we need to resize the canvas. The width needs to be 260. That way. Okay, look at we gain some length. All right, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make Johnny's nose bigger. That's the problem, dude. He doesn't have a big enough nose, and it's not working for me. It is not working for me. So let's go bigger. Let's go bigger. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, here we go. Look at that. Closer. Maybe still bigger. Yeah, this is what I'm kind of aiming for. A good aquiline Roman nose. Is that the same thing? I don't know. Look it up. I don't know these words. I'm just saying them. Perfect. Look at that, dude. Oh my god, size am I super good. Overdose. Not having a baby is hard to get the right hormones producing. We do have an estimated date, beginning of October, dude. I'm super excited. You guys will well, first off, you won't have to keep walking back and forth. Obviously, you spend 5 days walking back and forth from the hospital to get there. So I'm super glad that that's going to be done with. All right, and then make sure he's precise collided. Perfect. All right, next thing we're going to do, we're going to add event, key press. Okay, we got to redo these key presses. I can't handle it. We need something different. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do, what is, shoot is this? Okay. Change event. For the first time in our life, we are changing an event. Give me letter A. So if you're hitting A, that's going to be your shoot. Does that make sense? No, D needs to be the shoot. D needs to be the shoot. I don't like that. D needs to be it because that's my index finger. Let's do that. Letter D. Okay, D. So if shrink is 0, so if shrink is, yeah, we're going to rewrite this. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into control. We're doing it in code. So if shrink equals false, instance create, and then we'll just create an XY, and then obj. We gotta make a new bullet. We'll get to the bullet. Oh no, what am I doing? Okay. So if shrink is false, we're doing Boolean. I know Kim doesn't like Boolean. We're doing Boolean. All right, get rid of this. All right. Object bullet. Actually, maybe we should do current bullet. Player bullet. We'll do player bullet. Okay, we're gonna do some crazy things here. This is what I want to do. Where's the create event? We're adding new things. Shrink equals false, and then player bullet equals obj Bullet. We got to make a bullet next. Sorry about that, guys. I'm kind of going ahead. I'm doing this as we need a new sprite. Insert a sprite. SPR bullet. And then what would be a good Johnny bullet? We need to do, it needs to be big, I think. Well, okay, delete this. All right, what is the first one? We have a magic wand. I think it should be magical. I think Johnny should be shooting magic. So let's do magic. That's what I want to do. This needs to be bigger, though. I'll get to your guys' chats in a second. Sorry, I'm on a one-track mind here. Give me 1 second. Resize canvas. And then we're going to do 64 by 64. Okay, I like that. And then we're going to do magic. That's what I like the idea of whimsy. No, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. What about this? Is that what I consider magical? Maybe magic is a series of stars. Maybe that's what it is. Stars are magical. They're celestial. We'll get a different color in here. Red. Like a blue. Okay, I like that. We can work with that. Alright, this is our bullet, and then we need a new frame. Okay. How do I... Next frame? Oh, okay, sweet. Doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be... Oh yeah, okay. This is jank. I'm liking this. Here we go. Let's keep it going. This is jank. Just speak from the heart, guys. That's all Johnny Game's about. You just let it flow out from within you. That's how it is. You just let it out. Shouldn't be more than that. We'll even add some particle effects for that. Look at that. Magical. Perfect. All right. Modify mask. How do I want to do the mask? Can I do a manual? Oh no, I can't even draw the box. Oh man. No wonder Kim did automatic for everything. Oh wait, I can do rectangle? Oh, nice. I can make a manual rectangle. I can see the preview. I like automatic rectangle. I'm fine with that. No precise collision for my bullet. Okay, so now we're gonna create a bullet. What is this? Our shot? Oh god. Okay. Let's duplicate this. This is gonna be obj bullet. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, then we're gonna select this as that. Okay. Nice. So Johnny has a bullet, right? And he hits the D key. When he hits the D, he creates player bullet. Player bullet is set to object bullet. Okay, so then this works, right? Failed to replace the icon. No problem. Beautiful. Look at that. Look at our magic in play. Wow, dude. So much magic. So much magic. Okay, I'm gonna catch up with chat, but I just appreciate the magic we have here. Beautiful. Okay, all right. Can't wait to update you later. Yeah, I'm super excited to talk to you guys about everything. Hope you've been recording this experience. Could easily make a nice video out of it. Don't worry, Doyle. Everything I have is recorded. All 50 hours of Johnny. Perfect segue. Thank you, Doyle. If you want to spend the 50 hours of your life it took me to beat 36 Johnny games, well, don't worry. You can view it on the Cody_Pen YouTube channel archive. If you're watching it there now, like and subscribe. Please leave a comment. Let me know, am I teaching you anything? Probably not at this moment. I'm having too much fun, but you might be learning something. Oh, give him some elemental attacks? Brent, you're a genius. That is an amazing idea. Let's go on that vein. Insert sprite. Actually, hold on. Hold your horses. Duplicate this. Even easier. All right. SPR fire. That's right. Johnny is Yeah, okay, okay, wait. Hold on. I'm changing it. I got a whole new game here. I got a whole new game. That fits in my theme even better. All right, here we go. Get rid of these. Delete. Here we go. You're right, Brent. Why make Johnny simple when he can be infinitely complex? You're right. What am I doing? I could have jank to... Why has the red always been like this? Who the hell is making red, bro? I thought it was like just a modern Gamemaker thing to use this ugly red, but no, it's always been like this. These people, man. These people, dude. Alright, we need an orange. Why is there... Okay, here's an orange. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Exactly how I like it. My girl knows how I like it. She knows exactly how I like it. Look at that. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Actually, this orange, not a fan. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan. Okay, wait. Hold on. All right, here we go. Okay. That's making weird noises. It's fine. Here we go. Obviously, this is the content you guys subscribe for. This is what you're here for. What else are you here for? Go back to this to grab my red. Perfect. Grab the red. Okay. Nice. Okay, we need obviously one more frame. It's very important to have one more frame. Actually, even better, dude. Let's add some pizzazz to it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something completely off the cuff. So we're going to have a big one. Look at this. Boom. Look at that. And then we're going to do a crescent. A crescent. That's what I want to do. So here we're going to use the Gamemaker tools. Oh, actually, it should be a different color. Great idea. Just thought of that. Here we're going to do crescent. And then how do I cut? I guess I could do a big circle and sort of cut it out. Oh, wait. What about this? Nice. Wait, it could be better. Nice. Look at that. Magical, isn't it, huh? That's right, Brett. We can make this game so much more complicated than it ever needed to be. Genius idea. Oh my god. All right. So getting back to it. So now we have a magic bullet. We have a fire bullet. Perfect. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with Gamemaker, we're going to do some programming. And here's what we're going to do. First, Johnny needs to be able to get a big nose. Right now he can shoot one bullet, which is cool, but he needs to be able to get his big nose that we love and know him for. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So we need to add a key. So how Gamemaker works is these are the events of an object. So you'll notice right now we have three main resources I've been working with. I've been working with the sprites, I've been working with the objects, and I've been working with the rooms. These are all assets that build up a game. Right now I've sort of just piecemealed some things together, but we are going to explain how this process works. So for those of you that don't know, the object Johnny we've created and placed in this room. Okay, so this is Johnny. Now, when an object is created, events run one time. Okay, so here's what's happening in the create event. We're setting the gravity for Johnny. Okay, so this is direction 270. So I want you to imagine a circle. Okay, do we have to MS Paint this? Obviously, we got to paint this. So I want you to imagine a circle. So here's our circle, imperfect and beautiful like Johnny is. In Gamemaker, by default, what happens is the right side here, this is 0. Okay, this right here is 0. How do I can type something. This is 0 degrees. Okay, that's how that works. Wait, how do I, 0 degrees. Obviously, you can see I don't use paint. Perfect. Now, if we want this degree, it goes anti-clockwise, counterclockwise, okay? So this is going to be, who even uses paint? Okay, 90 degrees, okay? So if you want to get something from 0 degrees to 90 degrees, you got to remember it's going counterclockwise. This over here, while we're in this, is going to be 180 degrees. Okay, and then this down here is 270. Okay, so if you want anything around this circle, you have to remember that the circle is always moving this way, in this direction. Why they did it, I don't know, man. Maybe they don't like clocks. Maybe they want to turn back time. Maybe they got a problem with how this works. I never figured it out. But that's what you need to learn for Gamemaker. This is intuitive knowledge that you learn through playing with Gamemaker. So facing right is always 0 degrees. This is useful later. We'll probably use it, but just remember that we're going around the circle this way. So when you see the set gravity set to 270, that means we're setting the gravity down, okay, in the direction down of 270 degrees at a rate of 2. 2 pixels, 2, I don't know, whatever number it is, doesn't matter. Then we're executing code. This is where we're going to define our variables. What is a variable? Great question. Great question, student. Great question, discipleless student. So, a variable is just a word that stores something. Okay, sometimes it's a number. In these cases, it's going to be a number. Sometimes it's Boolean, which is a fancy word to say true or false. Sometimes it is a thing, like an asset. So in this player bullet, we're storing object bullet. The reason I'm storing object bullet into player bullet is so that I can change player bullet later when I have different bullets. So you'll see I have a fire bullet and I have a magic bullet. I'm going to have the same object bullet, but I'm going to change the element and the sprites and the things of that. So that's why I'm storing it in here, because the player himself is only ever going to reference the bullet, player bullet. That's the variable he's going to reference. So in this case, I have if shrink is equal to false, which we're going to do shrink. We're going to do nose lengthen, nosen. Okay. Actually, something I really like with old Gamemaker versus new Gamemaker. So new Gamemaker, you have to type instance create layer, which is one too many words, frankly. In old Gamemaker, all you have to do is type instance create, and then you designate the X value you want to create that, and then you designate the Y value, and then you designate what object you're creating, and then it creates it. In case you don't know what any of this stuff does, you actually can go over here to Gamemaker A2 core, and then type in instance, well, I gotta spell it right. Third time's the charm. Create. Look at, we have instance create, so you can create a depth. This is basically the new layer thing if you want. Or you can just do instance create, which is somewhere. Okay, maybe they don't have it in here. All right, well, whatever. It creates an instance. This is the position, the index, returns an instance ID. We'll worry about the instance ID later. Basically, when we're creating this, you can actually store this into a variable. So we could do var and then bool. And now if we call bool for this brief section, bool, and then if we wanted to address its, let's say it has a shit variable in it, we could set that to 100. Or let's say it has a bool crap thing, we could set that to 20. Or let's say it's a bool honky, we can set that to object player, whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter. Variable, when we say var, we are only using var like a temporary variable in this local scope, and then we want the object to forget it later. So that's a great question. Now we're going to get into that. I'll explain that a little bit to you. So here, let's delete this. Let's go back to normal here. So Johnny himself is like a container. Okay, he's an object, but he's a container too. And some of the things he contains are these variables right now. He has a life variable, score variable, a dir. I'm assuming dir is for direction. I didn't make this game. Don't fault me for it. We'll figure it out. Shrink equals a 0, okay? And he's got some other stuff in here. This is my code now I'm adding. So he's a container. And what does he contain? Well, he contains a mix of things. He contains variables. He contains sprites. He contains built-in variables that we can address later. So, for example, all objects have an image X scale. So we can directly affect his image. That's probably a little bit more confusing. Let's do something simple. Alpha. So he has an image alpha. It's a native thing to all objects. That means he is visible or not. So when we check this visibility box, right now his visibility is set to 1, true. But in code, we can affect his image alpha and set it to 0 if we want him to go invisible, for example. Johnny also has a native X and Y variable. All objects have their own X and Y variable. How that works is within the room, in any room, in game design, the top left is going to be 0, 0. So now we're going to go back to paint. Okay, you love this. You love paint. I see people love shorts. They love paint. They love everything. They love summer, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm here to give you what you want. Look at this. Boom. You remember this shit from math class? Here we go. This is the quadrants, okay? This is the math grid. So how it works in game design is all games. Whoa. Okay, why when I place something on the map, why would I ever want to? There we go. Keep it in there. Keep it in there. Keep it real. All right. Let's do green. We're only working here. This is where we're working in our game design, okay? So you can forget the 3/4 of math you don't need to know. The only math you need to know is this box. And the reason that matters is because this up here is coordinate 0, 0. And let's say this is the extent of our room over here. So this could be like 200, 0, and this can be like 0, 200. All right? So this is how this, oh, and then obviously this is going to be 200, 200. Look, you already filled it in, huh? 200, 200. Look at that. This is how game design works. So when we're designing stuff, top left is going to be 0, 0. This is your x, so you have your x value, you have your y value. So you're starting at 200. So if we go to this corner, we're going to move 200 this way. So you'll notice that it's increasing. We're increasing the number. The number gets bigger towards 200. The first number, just this number right here, nothing else. Okay, same thing for this. Obviously, if we're doing an x of 0, the y value is going to get bigger. So that's where this number comes in right here. So we're going down, right? So we're adding to get down. So anything going down this way is y plus. You'll hear the vacuuming in the distance. That's because somebody is cleaning the hallway as I do this lesson here. All right, and then this is our x and y are both added to get obviously to this. Does that make sense? Does everybody understand this? Sorry, I'm gonna keep up with it. LMAO. Yes, we have to paint this. No. People don't like paint anymore. It reminds us of our mana. Morning. Look at my mana. What can I do for you? Hammer. What Doyle? How did you know, Cody? Yeah, you introduced us, bro. You never watched my stream. You don't stream, Hammer. You gotta stream more. He lurks. Dude, he's been lurking in the Johnny streams. That's awesome. Okay, anyways, yes. Yeah, you introduced us at some point, and then we were chatting. So that's why we're here. I stream something. Yeah, I know. I'm hassling you, bro. I'm hassling you. How are you doing? How are you, Hammer? What game are you working on? I'm doing basic game design stuff, so this is going to be pretty much everything you already know, Hammer, times, like, in the most reduced form. All right, so there we go. Look at that. We're here. You've been lurking on Johnny. You've been Johnnying in. Perfect. I'm glad we're spreading Johnny. That's important to me. It's important that we're spreading Johnny. All right, we need to rename this room. Room 1. Actually, let's do level 1. I like that better. Even better. Levels. We're going to make this... I don't know. Maybe room just has the old charm of Gamemaker. You're right. I changed my mind. No, all serious. Oh, I'm working on your mom. No, all serious. I'm working on a platformer. Dude, I can't wait. Looking forward to it. All right. So I was explaining the coordinate system because what we're going to do next is... Yeah, okay. That explains coordinates. So actually, let's use the coordinate system that we have here to put the bullets in a better position. So right now, the bullets are weird because the origin of the bullets is in the top left. You can't see it because old Gamemaker doesn't show it that well, but when I put it in the middle there, you can kind of see it. So we're centered in the origin of the sprite. That's where we want to be. We're going to do that same thing for our fire bullet. We're going to center it in the origin because I want to shoot it from Johnny's gun. I want to make sure the programming is right so that when he shoots, it actually shoots. Okay? So what we need to do now is we need to make the bullets shoot from Johnny's gun. So let's go over to Johnny, the D key, execute a piece of code. So right now if we're not shrunk, we're creating player bullet. So because Johnny's facing right and because he never changes direction, I can add, remember, to go right. So if you imagine a Johnny here, how do I make this, can I make this fatter? How do I make a brush fatter? I guess I can do this. So anyways, this is going to be Johnny. Like this. Look at perfect representation. He's going to be shooting his gun. Okay, he's going to be here. So you'll notice in here, in my Johnny, his origin is right here. So if we want to shoot the bullet at the edge of his gun, we have to add X. So that's what we're going to do. I know this may be trivial for some people that are already into game dev, but I'm trying to start from the base of 0. So just a little bit. I'm probably going to miss stuff because even I don't know my basics that well. Learn your basics. They're very important. So let's add 50 and let's run the game and let's see what we're working with. Game's broken. Did I mess something up? Error. Oh. I don't even know where to decompile it. I don't even know where the compiler is. I wouldn't even have been able to figure that out. Alright, so we press new game. Now when we shoot... Oh, we do have shrink. I didn't realize that. Oh, okay. Well, anyways. D to shoot. Look at that. We're closer. I kind of want to be a little bit to the... A little bit more to the right. So let's do... When you press D, you're going to do 80. Let's see what that looks like. We're missing an icon somewhere. I don't know what icon we're missing. Okay, we're close. Look at that. Okay, that's pretty good. Looks like he's shooting. Nice, we can do that. And then we have our beautiful hover mechanic. That's my favorite in any Johnny game, is this jank hover. Okay. Nice. Nice. Okay, now we need a nose bigger. He needs the nose up. So how we're gonna do that is we're gonna do. Should we do S for nose? Yeah, we should do S for nose. Or S should be shrink. A should be nose. Yeah, we'll change this. Does he have a control key now? How are we shrinking? Up, right? Maybe it's in the step code. I don't really like reading code like this, so we're gonna fix this. This is how I like my code. I like it spread out like that. I like to give it some breathing room. We have a game save. We can leave the game save in here. V speed equals 0. Go to the next room. We can probably even just move that down. Now when I start the game, do I just go into the room? Okay, that's better. Alright. So wait, if you press down, it does something? Direction equals 4. Okay. He's doing some weird stuff with the direction, which we'll get into. I think that's because that's what we're using to denote what bullet we're doing. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it makes sense. Alright. But I don't see a shrink key, though. Oh, space? Yeah, that's what he's doing. Okay. Alright, I found it. We're changing it, though. We're going to edit the shrink after we do the nose lengthen. Oh, and this is another exit. Why would we even need exit? I'm going to leave it in there for now, but I don't think we even need that. Also, it should be 2 of these. Maybe that's why he's having trouble with it. Because he's instantiating a variable instead of checking if it's conditional. So what we're doing is we're checking if this is conditional. If shrink equals 1, or if shrink does not equal 1, you could do it like that too. If does not equal. For now, we'll leave it as it is. Oh, this sets shrink. Got it. He must have just... Not a programmer. Kim was not a programmer, for sure. I'm not really much of a programmer either, but we're here. Why not use Gamemaker Studio? Great question, Hammer. Reason we're not using Gamemaker Studio is 1, because I want to make an authentic Johnny Fangame utilizing some of the jank of old Gamemaker. Is it possible to go through the work of converting it? Yes, I think. I think it's possible if we take the old files in Gamemaker Studio 1 and then convert them from Gamemaker 8 files to GMX files, and then we have to go into Gamemaker Studio 2 and open the GMX file and then run it that way. But I wanted to preserve some of the jank to use a skeleton of a Johnny game here to make our Johnny game. So that's why we're using that. Very magical. Oh, so I can use the original code. Yeah, just slightly using the original code is what I'm aiming for. I want to use some of the original code. I want to use some of the original... because Gamemaker has changed how they do some variables and stuff over time. I will probably update this to the modern Gamemaker Studio for the Johnny game. But for now, I want to work in this. And also, Noli downloaded 8.2. and I want to show how to use 8.2 to get the more authentic experience, you know. That's what I'm aiming for here. So we have this ability. What I want to do is I also want to do a add key press. So we're going to do, oh wait, this is key press. Key press, and we're going to do letter, well, we got to do one for shrink, so let's do S. Then we got to do one for our nose lengthen. So let's do A. Okay. I like that. That'll work. We got some weird keys here, but it's fine. Okay, so the shrink code currently right now is in space. I'm going to leave that as it is. And let's work on our nose lengthen code. So we're going to do add a code block. And we're going to do if shrink equals false. Then when you press A, your sprite index, which this is a default variable that is connected to all objects. All objects have a sprite index. What is the sprite index? The sprite index is this thing right here, this sprite box. So we're going to change the sprite of Johnny, and we're going to change it to Johnny Nosin, which is our bigger Johnny sprite. So if you're not shrunk, and assuming you press A, which is what started this whole thing to begin with, then you're going to have a big nose, okay? And what I'm going to do is else. So we're going to do else if shrink equals true, because this is some of the game design problems I had with Johnny when playing it. You wouldn't notice how awkward it is. Here, actually, can I demonstrate it? I don't know if I can demonstrate it. I can probably demonstrate it. Here, let's go to the... Let's show you. I'll show you some of the annoying stuff I dealt with. So let's copy all this, and then let's delete the... Well, here, let's paste it in here. Actually, can we just copy the whole thing? Control-C? Yeah, okay. I Control-C and Control-V in here. And then we can delete this. Got to delete it manually here. Okay. And then let's test this first. Let me make sure this works. Okay, so we have shrink. Nice. And then we have nose lengthen. Okay. Look at that works. We don't have it set to unlengthen. So let's do that first. That's our first thing we got to do. Right now he gets big and he never gets small again, man. You can't live your life big. You got to be able to choose the situation that you're big and you're small. So if shrink is false, and then we got to do actually, even better. We're going to do if nosin equals false. We're going to put this in the thing. So you'll see here, I'm sort of fashioning another thing. I'm going to check if nosin is equal to false, which means in our create event, we need to define the variable nosin. So nosin is going to be our nose length. It's going to start as false. We're going to grow the nose over time. So then here, we can comment this. If nose is not big. So if our nose is not big, if it's equal to false, and if shrink is false, which actually we can, well, we're going to change that. Leave that as it is. So now we have an else. So now, how this works. If nose is not big, if it's equal to false, if our shrink is false, we're going to change the sprite index to Johnny Nosin. We're going to have something else here too, but we're going to leave that now. Now, if nose is equal to true, down here, else, anything else. So any edge case that we could possibly have. So we're going to do the same thing, actually. We're going to just paste this here. If shrink equals false, then we're going to go back to Johnny. That's what we're going to do. Back to Johnny. That's how we're going to do it. Okay, so now we should be able to... Okay, we can do that. Nice. And then... Oh, we need to make nose up. We forgot to make it false. My bad. I don't know how to program. So this is nosin equals true. And if true, then we're going to do nosin equals false. We're basically using this Boolean to let us know that, like, yeah, the nose is getting bigger. Yeah, the nose is getting smaller, sort of thing. Look at that. Now we can actually do some nose jumps now. Look at that. Now I can have some big platform distances here. Obviously, they're not too big right now, but we can make them bigger. Beautiful work. Beautiful work. Beautiful work. Love it. Already feeling like a Johnny game. Absolutely glorious. Nice. And then we have our shoot. And it works just as jank as every Johnny game. Really come to appreciate that. We can make a bullet wall. We got every janky possible mechanic now. Okay. Glorious. Plus, you can't decompile the Gamemaker suit yet, which means preservation of the fan game will be harder. That's also true. We got to be able to. We got to preserve the fan game. I actually think you can decompile some Gamemaker Studio stuff because they did it for Undertale, I think. So okay. So what I want to be able to do is I don't want the player to be able to have a big nose when they're small. That's what I don't want. So we're gonna change that. So some of the reason I was talking about the problem with the Johnny games is like a problem with the Johnny games is if your nose was big, you couldn't shrink. And that feels really awkward. I want the player to be able to shrink regardless of what their nose is. Because if they're going to press the key to shrink, I don't want them to have to unlengthen their nose to then be able to shrink. That's like awkward. So we're going to program it so that it's more convenient for the player. So if they're hitting the button, if their nose is big, we're just going to set the nose to false and make it work. So here, this is where we have it. So if nose is big, or sorry, if nose is not big, and you're pressing the A key, we're going to increase it. If shrink is true, we need to actually set shrink to false. Okay. Or actually, maybe we do unshrink equals true. That might be better. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Since we're sort of running around and doing some weird stuff here, we might as well make it weird. So let's make unshrink equals true. Sorry, unshrink equals false. Unshrink equals false. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to make it so that within the step of that, that's what we're going to do. If unshrink equals true, we're going to actually unshrink Johnny. Which may introduce interesting problems, but I'm excited for it. So first, let's go to the S key, which is our shrink key. So now we have it right here. It's if shrink is 0, you set the image scale, whatever. If that, no, that's not what we're going to do. We're going to do if shrink equals false. Then you can shrink it. And shrink equals true. We don't need this exit here. But if shrink equals true, we're going to cut this out of here. Instead, we're going to make unshrink equals true. So now we're going to do the unshrink code. Where's the unshrink code? It's going to be in the step event. And the unshrink code is just going to be whatever it was for this. The reason we're doing it this way, okay, is because the S key only, this code only triggers when we press the S key. So the problem is if I had the unshrink code in here, then he's only going to unshrink when he's in this code. And I don't want to have to copy the unshrink code all over the place. So I'm just going to make a designated area in the step event for him. If unshrink is true, he runs the unshrink code, and then we just set unshrink to false. That's what I feel. It's kind of jank. But this whole game is jank, so it doesn't matter. Now, what the step event is, so I mentioned the create event earlier. The create event is something that you use. It only runs one time. Okay, we'll get into alarms later too. This alarm is basically just saying every so often save the game, so we'll get to that. The step event, while the object exists, all the code in the step event is constantly running over and over, checking again and again and again. Every frame of this room at 30 frames a second, 30 times every second, it is checking every object's step code and cycling through it. So you'll notice here the thing is, if your life is less than or equal to 0, it sets your score to 0, restarts the room. That's what this does. It's just checking if you're dead. Are we dead? We can even label it. Are we dead? If so, restart the room. Now we're also going to be checking, are we unshrinking? Are we unshrinking from... Here, we can change this too. It's easier to read. I also like spaces in between everything, but you can do whatever you want. It's your world. We're just living in it. Okay. So we're setting the image X scale back to its normal, setting the Y scale back to its normal. All that is the stretch of the sprite. So the image X scale, if you imagine we're drawing a sprite, right now it's at 1. If we want it to be half the size, we set the X value to half, 0.5, and then we set the Y value to 0.5. So anyways, let's check if this Okay, we have the unshrink code in here. Now let's go back to shrink. Shrink works. Unshrink equals true. And then we can actually, oh, we got to set shrink equals false as well. So once it's done shrinking, we got to make sure shrink is false. Okay. So now when we shrink, it automatically sets this. Then sets shrink to true to let us know that we are currently shrunken. And then in our nose lengthening code, if shrink is false, grow the nose. If shrink is true, set unshrink to true. And then we also want to grow the nose. We do also want to grow the nose. We just want to unshrink as well. And then if nose in is true, if shrink is false, then we go back to Johnny. Yeah. If we have a big nose and shrink is false, okay. How do I want to do this? We have big nose. Nose in is true. I'll think about this for a minute. Give me a second. Give me 2 seconds. Oh yeah, the way they did it with Undertale is because it's a data file. I did not know that. Not just an exe. If you pack a GMS game and it's a good packer, it's impossible. I didn't know that. Oh, because GMS compiles to C++, so I heard. Okay, gotcha. Dude, hello, Fuzzy. We are currently working on our Johnny Fangame in Gamemaker 8.2. How are you doing today? Yo. Okay, so I think this actually solves my base problem. If the nose is true and shrink is false, and shrink is always going to be false if the nose is true, so this doesn't really matter. We basically just need to set this back to here. I don't even think we need to check for that at all. If nose in is true, yeah. Set it back. Is that how I want to do it? Yeah, because now I need to go into the shrink code and do something similar. Yeah, so then in the shrink code, we got to do, yeah, if shrink is false. Let's do it differently. So we have if nose in, well, here we can show you how to do ands as well. It's going to be even better. And actually, I think you just type and, yeah, even easier, even more readable for people at home. So if nose in, which is our big nose, equals false, then you can shrink. But we got to do else if shrink equals false and nose in is true. Then we gotta make nose in equals false. Sprite. Is this how we're gonna do this too? We'll run into problems later. We'll deal with it. Whatever. Johnny. So, yeah. And then if shrink equals true. Else. Oh no. This is our unshrink. Is this gonna work? I feel like I messed something up here. If shrink is false and nose is false, then we just get small. If shrink is false and nose is true, then we set this, and then we also need to do the shrink code here. Smallin nose. Okay. And then if shrink is true, we're unshrinking with true, and then we're resolving that in the step event. Okay, let's see if that works. I don't know if that's gonna work. Okay, this. Wait, we can't shrink anymore. We can shoot. We can lengthen our nose. We cannot shrink though. Why can't we shrink? If I press the S key, if shrink is false and nose in is false, image X scale equals that, and shrink equals true. Also, if shrink is false and nose in is true, shrink the nose and also shrink. If shrink oh, that's why. My bad. I messed up. So we want to bring our unshrinking at the front. And the reason I messed this up is because this is running top to down. So what's happening is if shrink is true, unshrink. The problem is that if I set shrink to true here and it finishes this code block, then we're just running if shrink is true. See, because shrink is already true at the end of this. And so if I have this after it, then we're just going to shrink the nose. And that's not what we want to do. We want to actually check if it's true first, and then go through the process. And if shrink is false, there's probably a better way to do it, but that's how I'm dealing with it. That's how we're solving that problem. Look at perfect. Nice. Okay, now we can, whatever key you're hitting is what we're working with, basically. So like if I'm small and I want a big nose, boom, big nose, right? I can turn it on and off, and I can also shrink. That was something I got really annoyed with in the Johnny games, is that if I was small, I couldn't hit the big nose button. I couldn't get a big nose, so it was very annoying to me. If I couldn't just do that and then get a big nose, which means you couldn't do like cool jumps where you like jump small and then, you know. It wasn't like that. Okay, fix that. I went to Kroger, got their sushi. It's not as good, but it's just as expensive. That's the best part about Kroger. You know, sometimes it depends on the people they got making the sushi there. They do usually have a chef that makes the sushi. A sushi chef. Alright. What is the next thing we want to do? We probably want to do an enemy, right? Let's do an enemy. SPR nymph. I want to do a nymph. If Johnny's going to be walking through the woods on this beautiful day, he's going to be fighting nymphs. That's what I want him to have to deal with. So, image. Then we're going to do... What am I doing here? How do I make this bigger? Oh, resize canvas. 200 by 200. Nice. Alright, then we're going to draw a nymph. I'm going to draw a nymph. Need a nice wood color. Perfect. And then let's sort of get the outline of a nymph. Oh, no, that's way too big. Come on, man. We're going to do like this. Oh, actually, maybe she should have that as hair. So let's do this. Maybe like that. No, that's too big. She needs curves, dude. She needs all the curves. She's a nymph. Maybe I need a bigger canvas. It cannot contain all the curves I want this female nymph to have. Resize. Oh, sorry. I didn't even make it big enough. There we go. That's way better. I felt like I didn't have enough pixels. Oh, way better, way better. Okay. Start with the neckline. Maybe like this. No, it's not dainty enough. Does it matter? I'm being too much of a purist. Alright, here we go. Whatever we got, we're sticking with. So then you got... okay, alright. Oh, we're gonna do it. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, okay, this looks great. This looks good. We're gonna just... yeah, okay, there we go. Looks great. Nice. We're sticking with it. Give her some hair here. Lush green hair. Obviously. Sort of eat into the head a little bit. Nice. How bushy do I want it to be? I guess we can... The forest is wild and chaotic, obviously. That's what Johnny's gonna have to deal with. Nice. 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 Give her an actual hairline. Nymph of the forest. Glorious. Now we need to define some edges here. In my strangely fertility statue looking boss. Enemy here. Alright. Anyways. Don't think too hard about it. That's the problem. You don't think too hard about it. You just here, we need that there. 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 And then we draw some sort of wood lines. Right? Is that how I want to do it? Some wood lines. See, most people don't draw these correctly. They gotta be... Maybe I don't like the wood lines. Maybe vaguer is better. Let's leave it as vague, vague, vague. I like vague. We'll do vague. Vague is better. I'm not trying to create a Johnny 34, guys. Come on. What do you take me for? Jesus. Sure, ears in here. I like that. Some, like, wood elf looking ears. Okay, alright, we'll make it work. Yeah, sweet. I'm a fan. Nice. 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 I don't like this style of hair where it's like too weird looking. Okay, sweet. Alright, obviously she's like a nymph, so what other way to show that you're a nymph than to have flowers in your hair? That's like a pretty standard thing. Actually, those flowers are not. We can do better than that. Oh man, wait. Oh! Edit, redo. Okay. I like this color. I just want a smaller brush. Nice. Look at that. Do some little vague flowers and stuff. That one doesn't really look like a flower, but it's okay. It's all a visual thing, you know? You just gotta feel it out. Just gotta feel it out. Bit by bit. Nice. Okay, okay, okay. She needs a face. Everything in Kim's games has faces. And I'm gonna give her a face. She needs to have a face. Have some kind of face. Does she need a face? She needs a face. She could look more smug than that, I think. Disappointed? Shit-eating grin? Oh yeah, I like that. Kind of works. Gonna give her eyebrows too? She look weird without eyebrows, right? Oh, perfect, dude. I don't like this nose, though. I feel like women have, like, a smaller, pointier nose. Maybe I'm just assuming things. Oh, it looks a little... About that? Nah, it looks cuter if it's just, like, a button or something, you know? No, that looks weird. That looks too round. These games are about finesse. Close. Boom. No. Okay, in anime, they just do like a dot. No, that looks terrible. You're really gonna replicate Japan here? That looks doable. Now she looks like a Picasso painting. Look at that. It's amazing what a few pixels will do. Damn, dude. Changes the whole look. Alright, I'm sticking with it. I'm not gonna fight it. I'm not gonna fight it. Alright. There we go. We have our first enemy in our game. Should we do grass on her in any way over here? No, I don't think so. Let's leave it. Let's leave it. We'll leave it. Alright, our first enemy. We can move her over to the middle here. She is wood, so she is going to be weak to fire, unfortunately. Let's center the... Oh, yeah, look at perfect centering. Precise collision checking, as per usual. And let's grab our enemy here. And we're just going to change him to the nymph. Then we're going to put him in the room, and we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what we're working with. Add a couple nymphs. Nice. Nice. We're building an interesting Johnny game here. Oh, look at him go. Look at those nymphs jump. Look at them. They have a jump mechanic. Okay, they killed me too. That's nice. Look at those nymphs go. And can I shoot them? Yep, I can kill them. Oh, we already have a Johnny game. Look at that, dude. Pixel art is so tough. Every pixel seems to count. It really does. It really does. All right, now we need a background, honestly. I'm feeling like background, we're going to go in the woods. Where else could we possibly go? It's going to be the woods. Let's create a background. How big is this? Like tiny AF? What do we have here? I got to get used to where all the buttons are. I think we can do 500 by 500, to be honest. We're going to do something real simple. Really simple. Super simple. We're going to do like, yeah, that's what I want. I want like a forest is what I want. So let's do something up here, like a tree line. And then we'll just do some trees. This looks great. This is looking great, dude. Whimsical is what we're aiming for. Okay. Okay. And then we can add something crazy called perspective. Get ready for this one, guys. What? Give me the 255 alpha. I need all the alpha for this one. Yes. Yes. Perspective. Can we get a tree back here? Nice. Looks like I did it behind. I actually should smarter move. Sorry guys, I'm doing this backwards. You should be doing the backmost stuff first, and then just, since we don't have layers, and then just layering the other stuff on, you know? That should be how it is. It's a more natural woody look. Then you just gotta fill all these in. Beautiful. Natural wood is what we want. In a Johnny game, you gotta have the natural wood look. If it doesn't have the natural wood look, it's not gonna be a Johnny game. Okay? Natural. All nat, and then we can, you know, we can cover some of this stuff up. NBD. Oh. NBD. Nice. Absolutely not. We want to make sure everything's in frame, because we're going to just set this to repeat over and over again. So make sure that works. Nice. Okay. Got some wood. Maybe we can add another tree over here just to sort of fill the space. Great, great. It looks awesome. We'll see how this looks when we get into it. When we're checking our score and making it twice, we'll see if I like what I see. Right now I like what I see. We could add some inconsistencies on the tree. Trees don't need to be, they're not perfect. They're not all straight. They got kinks in them, as do everything, you know? Everything's got kinks in it. It's all imperfect. That's what we're aiming for here. Sometimes they got branches. We could add them some branches here. Maybe these trees just have like silly little branches. They don't got big ones. You know? Beautiful. Oh, look at that. Looks like a series of branches. It doesn't, like I said, nothing's got to be perfect. We might have to change the colors if we can't quite make out what we're looking for here. And then it should be a bluish sky in the background. That's something I always liked about the Johnny series, was the blue sky levels. Let's do that. Let's fill in the backgrounds. Fill in all our little places. Tucked away behind the tree lines. Beauteous. Okay, maybe we even add the ground, you know? Oh. Nice. And then we add the tree line. And then perhaps we do yeah. Make it bushy looking. Bushy looking. You know what? Now that I see this, I want it lighter. The sky is not light enough. Nice. I don't know if Gamemaker has a replace color function here, but look at that. Okay, we kind of got some jank. Let's see what this looks like. Can we do a background? And let's do backwoods. Okay, it leaves a little bit to be desired, I'm gonna be honest. Where did we go wrong? I think the colors are too bold. That's my problem. We need to mute them. How do we mute them? We can bring the saturation down. They're too bold. So maybe what we do instead is let's take this color. Let's adjust it. Maybe how do we drop? Is there a way to just drop saturation itself? No, it doesn't seem like it. Man, I didn't realize how useful these sliders were in later game makers. I'm starting to appreciate everything. Let's do 100. Let's try that. And is there a replace all? Oh, there is. Oh yeah, that makes this so much easier. Alright, and then we need to do a slightly darker one. Nice. What does that look like? Click on that. That looks better. We could fade it out more, I think. Is that what I need to do? You know what? I'm not an artist. I'm just a guy. I'm just some guy. And then, you know what? None of this needs to be perfect. That's the best part about a Johnny game, is you can sort of faff about like a dead fish as long as you want. You know what? Maybe I'm even taking too much time here. I don't even need to do this. I could just make yeah, you know what? I can see Johnny a little bit more clearer, so I'm going to stick with that. I also like this weird... It really gives me Johnny vibes to see it as jank as it is. Oh, yeah, look at that. You can still see Johnny. Probably, the background needs some work, I'm going to be honest. It needs some work, but you should be able to see your bullets. Yep, the bullets are going to be stark against this background here. All right, beautiful. Beautiful work. All right, and so now the next thing we need to do in our Johnny game, a very important thing to do, obviously. Well, we need probably our own platforms at some point, but we can get to that. We have some abilities, but I would like to add a series of complex things here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add fire. We're going to add fire effects. Okay, so here, first we need to draw the nymph, and she needs to be dying. So SPR, nymph, inflamed. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay. Let's draw her. Okay, so we're going to take her, and then we're going to draw her inflamed. She's like a stick person, right? So let's change her curves a little bit. Sort of get rid of this middle here. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Okay. Nice. Make it look like she's sort of... Okay. And then this stuff is going to be like on fire. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do... I'm going to change the face up just a bit. Well, how do I... There we go. Okay. I think, you know, it's kind of giving me the vibe I want. Let's get rid of this here. And then let's do... The hair needs to be like red, I think. Oh, that's right. They got this terrible Gamemaker red. Let's change that. The flowers can be orange. And then we can add some different definitions to it. So we're gonna change the vibe just a little bit. change it out. She's going to be inflamed. She needs a daintier hand, I think. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just needs to be what I want it to be. Okay, let's draw some sort of fire effect here. Ooh, actually, before we do that, let's do the edge stuff first. We can be smart about this. Can be smart about this. Okay, we'll do that. Stuff on the edge. And then we make sure her nose is rendered in perfectly. And then we can do some sort of thing like that. Then we can do some sort of... Okay, then we can sort of reshape this a little bit, I think. Doesn't have to be a circle. Okay, I kind of like that. That's pretty good. Maybe I use the brown as like lips or something. Like a top and upper lip. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And then we can use yellow to sort of add some here. Okay. Maybe some bigger yellow patches, I think, would sort of add more to this. Perhaps we add orange in there too. Yeah, there we go. Sort of get the whole fire spectrum, you know, the typical fire spectrum we want. If it's going to be fire, it's got to have the whole thing, you know. Hey, look at here. We'll make a little, there you go, perfect. Looks great. Maybe she should have claws, like outstretched here. She's absolutely furious. She was minding her own business, just a nymph in the woods. And you, a seasoned veteran, but a hater of nymphs, with a gun to your name. I don't know if I like this. Maybe like this. There we go. Just happened to be burning trees down, you know. You got the memo. Magic Jumbo Whiz came in and was like, yo, man, there's another giant roach that you fought in Johnny 25. You got to take this one out. Okay, we should probably actually add a little bit more fire over here. Got to be in flames. Okay, and before we add any more fire here, let us... Oh, wait. Actually, this thing wouldn't exist, right, if they were open. That doesn't really make much sense. Doesn't really make much sense. Sorry, guys. The ludonarrative dissonance here. I apologize. I'm really not making this work. Okay. Sweet. So she's on fire. We need one more. Okay, here's now. This is where the animation comes in. Look at this animation. Luckily, people figured out hundreds of years ago that animation actually was just two images side by side flickering. And they were like, wait, we can work with this. And so that's why we have Disney today, guys. So either you love them or you hate them. It's, you know, there's sides to each argument, frankly. But those guys figured out you could flip two pictures, and it was all over. Now we got Mickey Mouse, we got whatever the goofy ass one is, and we got everything, you know. Got that one planet they removed from the... Did you guys hear about that? Cannot believe it. Make her mouth bigger. Give her a 2-frame scream. Love a 2-frame scream. Okay, great. What does that look like? Look at flip them back and forth. Wow. Content. Absolute content. Can't believe NASA did that to that planet, though. Absolutely. Still pissed about it. Grew up learning one thing, and what are they going to tell me next? We're not in a heliocentric universe? Jesus, man. don't even know what to think anymore. Don't even know what to think. Alright, we might as well also sort of... I kinda like what we're working with over here. We got something going on. Maybe she's fading into a different color at different points, maybe? How do we feel about that? Oh yeah. Big fan. Great idea, brain. She's sort of... What does that look like? Oh yeah. Look at that. Animation. Animation. It's beautiful. I'm gonna go draw on here a little bit. Completely animated. I'm practically working on the next Assassin's Creed over here, dude. This Johnny game, look at that. Let's not get too crazy with the lines, you know. I mean, jeez, man, come on. Gotta have some restraint. Okay, boom. We have our forest nymph on fire. Looks like she's on fire too. Actually, she should be. Big way to tell if they're actually dying and moving is we shift the frame a little bit. So now, there you go. Look at pure pain. Look at that. Yeah, if it wasn't jank, then you can't exactly call it a Johnny game. That's also true. We couldn't call it a Johnny game. It looks really cool. Thank you, Brent. Alright, so then what we gotta do is we gotta have her have an attack. She needs a bullet. SPR. Vine. Why not? Let's just do something simple. Add a vine in there. Doesn't need to be crazy. Oh, actually, it does need to be a color that's a little bit distinct so that we can kind of see it. Maybe we'll try that. We're gonna make the thing a 100 by 100, and then she is going to shoot a vine, and we're gonna do. Yeah, maybe like that. Is that too big? It might be too big. Don't worry, we're gonna make it work. Yeah, looks like a vine, right? Kind of. Got some viney elements on there. Yeah, whatever. Who cares? It's my game. Cancel. Okay. Bring the vine below here. Let's center it. Yeah, we might as well. Well, actually, let's do a manual. I want a rectangle. Automatic. That's cool. We'll do that. I like rectangle bounding boxes for some of this stuff. Okay, so now the enemy bullet. We need an enemy bullet. Okay, let's create an enemy bullet. Yeah, or I guess I can duplicate the boss shot, and we'll start with that. Vine. And then we have, where's our dryad? Yep. Sorry, nymph. Nymph. OBJ. Vine. Bullet. Okay, and then she touches a bar. Her V-speed is 0. She's got random movement stuff. She's kind of jank. We can fix her up. If she's outside the room, destroy the instance. Oh yeah, that's something I want to get rid of. Room restart? No. We are getting rid of that in our Johnny game. If you go outside the room, it's free game. I'm not dealing with that in a Johnny game. Not in my Johnny game. Absolute bull honky. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do nymph takes damage. So where's the nymph? So right now she has wait, is it in our bullet? Please don't be in the bullet. Okay, it's not in the bullet. What is this? Collision with bass. Oh, we have a parent. Okay, got it. We're going to name this pair enemy. So how this works is, we'll name it parent. Parent enemy. Okay, so enemy parent. So how this works is we have a thing called parenting in code. So this object is a child of the parent enemy. And what that means is whenever we're... hold on, it's not showing right. There we go. Parent enemy. now that it's a parent, now that this is a child, whenever we reference the above parent, we affect all children. This is going to be useful later because if we don't want to make the bullet collide with each individual thing, instead we're just calling the parent and being like, oh, are we touching something of the enemy, like class or enemy line, whatever you want to call it, the enemy hereditary line? If we are, then they're going to lose life. So how much life does a dryad have? She's got 100 life. Just give her 100 life with an just L life. Okay. She's got a bunch of events. We're not going to deal with any of that now. She has a sound. We can get rid of the sound later. I can't read this. This is... We gotta change this. We gotta change this, buddy. It has to be changed. I like my code one way. If our life is less than or equal to 0, then we destroy it. We're actually gonna get rid of the destroy. She's not gonna die when her life equals 0. Well, we'll leave it there for now. We'll leave it there. So you beat all the Johnny games. I have beat all 36 canon Johnny games. Now there are Johnny fan games like Johnny 37, which continues the narrative. And then there's Johnny's Nightmare, and then there's the Great Mike series, and then there's the Sally series. There's a whole bunch of stuff. We will be playing the fan games tomorrow. I just want to do a little stream here where we try to get a Johnny game up and running. But yes, as of yesterday, and dude, if you weren't here for the rest of yesterday, oh my goodness. That last Johnny game was the hardest in the entire series. It was actually crazy, dude. Absolute madness. Okay, so what we're going to have here is we need an... How do I want to do this? How doth I want to do this? All right, let's do SPR in flame particle. Fire shriek. I like that better. Let's do fire shriek. It sounds cooler. It sounds more interesting. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a 64 by 64 fire sprite. It's going to be just another fire sprite. It's going to be like actual flames though. Actual flame. Can add some littler stuff over here. Okay. Let's add another one. We'll add a few. Okay, let's sort of get a... Okay. And then we're going to add another one. And then he says another one. Do that. I got one more. Johnny games should really be all about vibes. That's kind of how it is. If you feel the vibe, that's how you should make it. Nothing more, nothing less. And then we're going to add our other colors. Like, yeah, there's probably a lot of practices you shouldn't be doing in game design, but why worry about all that when part of game design is just having fun and vibing, you know? We're going to use some conventions. I mean, there are things I hate about the Johnny games. If there's one thing I've learned from playing 36 of them, there are some absolutely atrocious mechanics, but there are some things I like from them. We're going to take what we like and cut off what we hate. Like some dermatologist freezing off some wart on your body. We'll get rid of it. Together. Just you and me. That's what you're here for. Wart removal. I don't have a degree in it, but I'm going to do my best to excise those disgusting aspects I don't like from the Johnny series and still hold true to the jank that makes Johnny truly beautiful. It's in our little imperfections that we find the humanity that Johnny has taught us. Okay, look at this. Fire. Cool. Looks like fire. Center origin. Modify mask. We're going to make the mask. The mask is basically just what we're colliding with, in case you didn't know that. There you go. Now you know. Boom. It took so long. Congrats then. Thank you, Fuzzy. Thank you for the congrats. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do if life equal... Well, we're going to do if inflamed equals true. Then we're going to var equals random 360. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a random number, random direction number between 0 and 160. And then we're going to instance create at our x and y. And it's going to be obj fire shriek. Okay. And then we're gonna store that. Fire equals that, and then fire dot dir equals dir. So we're giving the fire our direction that we're gonna give it. And then we're also gonna give fire dot speed equals random speed. Yeah. From 0 to, well, random range from 2 to 6, 5, something like that. And then we're going to create a fire object. Fire shriek. Fire shriek. What is this thing going to do? It's going to have a create event and step event. And the create event is going to have some code. The first code is going to be dir equals 0, speed equals 0. I don't know how old Gamemaker speed works, so we're going to figure it out together. We're just going to leave that as is. Oh, and then we're going to do... Here, let's show you how alarms work. So we're going to set alarm 0. There's plenty of alarms in a guy, whatever. You can name whatever you want. We're going to do a random number between 5 and 30. So 30 would be 30 steps, which would be 1 second. So it's going to be like less than, obviously, a fraction of a second to 1 second. So this is going to be how long the fire is going to live. I'm going to do alarm 0, and then we're going to do some code here. And then the alarm will only trigger, it sets the alarm in the create event one time. The alarm starts ticking down every frame it's alive, and then we're just going to do instance destroy. That's what we're going to do. So then we're just going to destroy the fire. So the fire only lives like, maybe we'll do like a second and a half or something. That's a pretty good range. I'm going to make her scream fire when she's on fire. That's my goal. That's my goal. And then we'll make the fire hurt you. We should actually do a parent enemy bullet. And the parent enemy bullet we'll deal with later. Okay. So we have fire shriek. We have our nymph. She has a vine bullet. The vine bullet is going to have the parent of parent enemy bullet, so we make sure we get this right. And then this is going to be parent enemy bullet 2. This will create a loop in parent. Oh, sorry, that's my bad. I'm not trying to loop the parents. We can't loop the parents. That'd be terrible. Okay, there. So what do we have here? We have var direction. What's wrong with this? Unexpected symbol and expression. If inflamed equals true, dir equals that. Var dir equals random. Random equals x. What is my tell me at home, those of you watching at home, what error do I have? Do you see the error? Doesn't look like an error to me. Is var not a thing? Is var not a thing in this? I thought var has always been a thing. Maybe it's not. How do I look that up? Oh, maybe it isn't. How do you do local variables in Gamemaker 8.2? I plan on taking a nap, dude. A nap sounds really good. It's gonna be crazy. I didn't see anything wrong. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Gamemaker 8.2 doesn't have variables. Sorry, var, like, does it have a var? Local variables, that's what I mean. Okay, I guess maybe it doesn't have local variables. Maybe I'm silly. Okay, ignore that whole lesson I told you about local variables. They don't even exist. They don't exist. There's no such thing. Don't even bother. Completely don't exist. So forget about it. Can we actually repeat? Oh yeah, we can repeat. I random range from like 1 to 3. So we're gonna repeat this randomly. Actually, maybe we should do 0. That would be better. That's just, yeah, it might be too much. Sometimes, yeah, okay. All right, we'll see if that works. I don't know if that's gonna work. Now we need parent Johnny Bullet too. Parent player bullet. Actually, maybe we should do player damage. That makes more sense. And this enemy damage makes more sense. If you're following along at home, just know that I'm gonna be changing things a lot. I'm indecisive. Parent player damage. Okay. So now the nymph is gonna be, if the nymph collides with parent player damage, then she's gonna lose life. So we're gonna do with other, and we're gonna do instance destroy. So we're destroying the thing that we're colliding with, which means we're gonna destroy the bullet. But first we need to get the bullet. Oh, I guess we're gonna do other dot damage. Oh wait, we'll do life. Our life equals life minus the other damage. Okay. And then, yeah, so we're losing life based on whatever the damage variable in that is. So in Johnny's bullet, we got set damage. Oh, Lord, what is this? What is this? Nightmare monstrosity. Okay, let's ignore it for now. Problems are great if you just ignore them. So the damage is going to be 5, I guess. We'll do 5. 5 is a pretty consistent Johnny damage number. So 5, and then what is this? Okay, this is if it collides with an enemy. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that in the bullet. Are we doing that in the bullet? Is that a better place to do it? Nah, I want the enemy to have its own damage resolution. So let's delete this. Okay, if it collides with a wall, though, sure, you can kill yourself. That's fine. If you collide with a wall, you can destroy the instance. You can destroy yourself. It sounds really bad out of context. Yeah, bullet, you can just die. Whatever you want to do. Okay. So we take damage. We set damage, right? Did I just do that? This is the nymph. Bullet, create damage. Okay, yeah, we have damage. Okay, cool. So now when the nymph gets hit, she is going to take damage. Okay. That's kind of what we want to do, but we also want to check something. So we got to do if other dot element equals fire, then we inflamed equals true. Yeah. And she's got to take more damage. Yeah. Else. Okay. That's how we're going to do it. We're going to add elemental effects to a Johnny game. Holy, dude. Holy. Okay. Then she's going to take. So if she takes this, she's actually going to take damage times 1.5. So she's going to take 1.5 times damage if it's an element of fire, which is her weakness, and then she's going to get inflamed. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Otherwise, she's going to take normal stuff. Okay, so then the bullet here, our current bullet element equals just magic right now. And then we got to be able to change the bullet type, so this is going to be weird. All right, we'll make it work. Key press, letter, we're going to do Q, and then we're going to do key press, letter E, so you can cycle through, right? You see what I'm doing here? I'm gonna create a cycle. You're gonna be able to cycle through different bullet types. So how are we gonna do that? Oh man, do we gotta create an array? I think we do gotta create an array, don't we? Guess we'll create an array. All right, so we have bullet array, I guess. Is that how we're gonna do it? I guess so. And then we're gonna do equals. I mean, that's got to be the way we do it, right? We have a bullet array. Yeah. Forget it. If it doesn't work, we'll change it later. All right. Actually, let's just do our 2 elements for now. So we have to, oh no, we got to change this. Magic bullet. Yeah. Fire bullet. Okay, let's do that. So we have bullet. But do I want to create a bullet for every bullet? I guess so, because then we can have different effects for it. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. So this is magic bullet. And we're gonna, whatever. It's a Johnny game. Who cares? We'll just have fun with it. We'll do whatever we want. Fire bullet is gonna be here. Magic bullet's gonna be here. So for the magic bullet, and the create event element is magic. We gotta actually, let's just copy this whole thing. And the fire bullet, oh, it's already in here. That's right, because I duplicated it. It's gonna be fire is the element. Okay, and then for the E key, we're gonna do. I gotta keep track of this, don't I? I need a variable to keep track of this. We need a current bullet equals 0. Okay, current bullet is 0. Current bullet is 0. So then when we press E, which would be going forward, if array length, do we have array length in here? Where's my length? Gamemaker core? I thought it would be core. Audio buffer console array. How do we check the array length in old Gamemaker? Array size. String copy. We learn together. There's only one thing. It's array from string. There's no way. There's no way. Local. Gamemaker joystick? My lord. What ancient thing are we working with here? We have arrays. How do we check if the array is a size without array length? I guess we could hard code it, right? I guess we're gonna hard code it. So if, okay, whatever, we hard code. You guys love hard code. Everyone loves hard code. We're talking about Johnny's. We're talking about hard code. What else could you want? Max bullets equals 1 right now, I guess. So if current bullet is less than max bullet, current bullet plus plus. Oh, we didn't have plus plus. Plus equals 1. We might have plus plus. I don't know. So we're going up by 1. And then we're doing the same thing over here, basically. Except the opposite. Current, so wait, if current bullets is greater than 0, minus equal 1. Okay, now we should be able to shoot both bullets. We just got to change into them. And then... does that work? Okay, so we got our shoot button, which is D. Press D to shoot. Creates player bullet. Now we gotta change that. Because we're using the bullet array now. So it's gonna be... when you press the D key, you're creating whatever bullet array is, and then current bullet. So that's what we're currently on. We're using like a little menu, basically. We're going through. We have current bullet set to 0. Then when you press E, it goes up by 1. Whatever. Go down by 1. And we have a magic bullet and a fire bullet. And fire has fire. So now the last thing we need to do is make sure that if the nymph gets inflamed in her step event, if inflamed is true, we're creating random fire. And if sprite index does not equal SPR nymph inflamed, then so if it doesn't look like she's inflamed, then we're gonna create SPR nymph inflamed. So we're gonna set that, and she's also gonna take damage each tick too. So let's do repeat I random range from 0 to let's do 0 to 2, and then her life minus equal 1. So she's going to take damage over time. Was that called dots? Damage over time. She's taking dots. Flame dots. Flame dots. Rage. Shriek. Score. We can deal with that later. Okay. Nice. And then... Yeah, I think this is going to work. All right, then Johnny, when he collides with a enemy damage, we're going to... We're basically going to do the same thing. We're going to do the same thing as the nymph here. So when she collides with this, let's just copy this. And then we'll paste it and we'll edit it. So it's going to be life minus damage, basically. And then destroy the other thing. Yeah. Life minus other damage, and then destroy it. Okay, and then so now the nymph bullets, she needs... So we haven't done the vine bullet yet. We'll get to that later. I'm not going to program that right now. But what I am going to do is set the damage of it to maybe 10. Take 10 hits, you're dead. You got 100 life. Makes sense to me. Oh, and then if this collides with bullet damage, then we destroy each other. So it's going to be with other instance destroy. So this is with the other thing, which is going to be the player bullet, and then we're also going to instance destroy ourselves. Destroy ourselves. Okay, so now they both. So now that's how we create a bullet shield wall thing. Got to make sure all enemy bullets have that sort of thing. If they're outside the room, they destroy themselves. Makes sense. Collides with Johnny. Okay, we need to get rid of the collide with Johnny thing because we put the code within Johnny himself for dealing with that. And then destroy instance when it hits a wall. So right now it chooses a random direction. It moves for the vine bullet, which we can do. The nymph, we probably need to make her create it. Is that Google Drive link the decompiles? Yes. That is the decompiles that I have. So you can use that to download them. And then you can obviously, when I upload the stream later, you can go back through and see how I'm making the game. I did explain some of the stuff. Can you check how many levels? What is this? Okay, I can't see the full link. You're going to have to chop up the link for me so that I can do it. And I'll have to decompile that a little bit later, but I can do that for you. I think, depending on what Gamemaker version it's made in. Alright, so let's see if this works. Did I break anything? Okay, I broke something. Where do we see the decompile window? Or the compile window? In Gamemaker 8. They have a documentation. Is this, we learn together. Or I gotta, check code for errors. I've done something wrong somewhere, and I've done a lot. I don't know what I did wrong. The game, oh wait. Oh, it is up. Are the nymphs here? Okay, now it's crashing. We did something wrong. What did we do wrong? How do I find it? Surely there must be something somewhere that shows you when you broke something, right? Surely Gamemaker 8.2 is something like that. Surely they would. There's no way they would. Why would the compile fail? Games extensions? Game settings? Transparency grid? I beat 2 Cubist games today. Adventures of Kayak and Raticata. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Johnny Camping Fangame. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're aiming for. Johnny Camping Fangame. I gotta figure out, though, how I see I guess I can look it up. I'm sure that's in there. Where is compile error page in GMS 8.2? They are displayed in the logs and the build output window. Click on Windows and compile. You know, there is no Windows, though. Sure. I mean, people have made crazy games with this stuff. There's got to be an output window. I'm just missing it. I don't know where it is. Show tutorials on startup. Help. Manual. Search. Output. Compile. No topics found. Glad the help documentation is really good here, guys. Really good. Really good. Great. Love it. I mean, the only other thing I can do is check for errors automatically. It's checking for errors, so where did Johnny go wrong? We have a bullet array, I think. First thing you should learn when using antiquated software is how doth I. It says I have no errors. Alright, well, let's test it then. Let's delete the nymphs and see if they're the problem. If the nymphs are the problem, then Johnny's the problem. And if Johnny's the problem, okay, Johnny's the problem. Johnny is the problem. What do we think the problem is here? Is it this? It can't be that, right? Surely it must be something else. Player bullet. Oh, it's this right here. Is that it? Ah, I figured it out. Okay. So this might be kind of hard to work with. You might want to use a modern Gamemaker if you're going to make a Johnny Fangame. Until I figure out where the output control window is. That's a little crazy. All right, let's put our nymphs in here. Let's go to object bar. Oh, no, that's not. Object bar 3. Yeah, there we go. Add some sort of scaffolding here. All right. Here is our Johnny game so far. Assuming the nymphs don't break the game. Okay, the nymphs broke the game. Okay, we got to figure that out now. Nymphs broke the game. They got 100 life. Got some random alarms. What else did I change here? Player damage. If element equals fire. Inflamed is true. Oh, perhaps I did not define inflamed. Yeah, I didn't do that. Inflamed equals false. Let's see. Is that all I messed up? Ah, I'm intuitive. Okay, so now we have bullets. Okay, we got magic bullets, which do damage. Oh, how did I die? Oh, are they shooting something at me? Oh, they must be. But I can't see it because I deleted it. So what is their thing here? Alarm 0. They jump. This must be their shoot alarm. V-speed. No. Outside room. Destroy themselves. What is... How is Johnny dying? I must be colliding with an invisible object. That's all I can imagine I'm doing here. They don't seem like they're shooting anything. Let's get rid of the sound here, too. Clean it up. To be honest, yeah, okay. Johnny is dying to something, but I can't quite see it. When they're inflamed, they do stuff. I don't know. Okay. We'll figure it out as we play. All right. Okay. Well, we should be able to... Okay, I broke my game. Nice. Johnny presses E, current bullet, less than max bullet, current bullet, plus equals 1. Maybe plus equals doesn't work. Current bullet plus 1. And if I press Q, current bullet equals current bullet minus 1. Sorry, I'll catch up with your comments if anybody's here. Oh, okay. Sweet. I'm caught up. Probably because I'm thinking too hard about this. All right. Create. Current bullets equals 0. Current bullet equals 0. Did I mess that up? Current bullet, max bullet. Oh, maybe I'm using max bullets and not max bullet. That's what I did. Yep. Wow, okay. Thank goodness I'm good at programming. Okay, fire. Okay, I died somehow. These are fire. Okay, dude, once she shrieks, bro, it's over. It's actually, you're completely dead. You just get, I don't know what I did wrong, but she gets super powerful. Giga powerful. Oh, here we go. Oh, man. Dude, it works. It does work. It's so jank. Something is killing me, and I don't know what is killing Johnny. All right. So Johnny here, parent enemy damage. Assuming I'm meeting parent enemy damage, let's remove this for now and see if that does it. Johnny is immune. He's entered God mode. Let's see if it is actually. Oh, something's restarting the room. It's not that. Oh, if life is less than or equal to 0. Room restart. Let's do a check. So we're gonna do draw, and then we're gonna do code, and then we're gonna do obviously draw self. I believe that's in here, right? Yeah, draw self, and then we're gonna draw text, and it's gonna be 16, and we're gonna draw life, and it's gonna be plus life, which is gonna be string. Okay, so we're turning life to a string, and then we're drawing it in the top left of the screen. Is his thing actually named Life? Yeah, it is named Life. Okay. These are globals. Do they need to be globals? Oh, that's the problem. It's because they're global variables, and the other things are also... Okay, so that's the problem with global variables, is whenever these guys, the nymphs, take damage, they're addressing life themselves, and that's a problem. The only global should be score. Yeah, I guess. So then we have to fix direction then. Okay, so direction, what does that do? When you're directing something, when you're picking a direction, it's setting the direction. Okay, and then when you shoot, you're shooting, D key, you're shooting a bullet, and then so bull equals this, and then bull now needs the direction equals dir. That's what it needs to be. And then the bullet will have a direction. So within the bullets, we got to add directions. So dir equals 2 default, which I think is what he set to the right. I think that's what Kim set aiming right. And then when it moves, yeah, if dir, oh, this code needs to go before all that. Okay, make sure that code goes first. And then based on the direction, yeah, we can change this. Yeah, we'll change that. That looks jank. It was jank as hell. We can change that. Let's see if this works, though. Let's see if I die randomly. Okay, we have 100 life. Okay. They burn. They burn away. Nice, okay. Kind of works. So what do we need to do? We need to make sure Johnny can take damage now. So we can, whenever he takes damage. Okay. So what are we doing? We're going to make it so we can already change bullets. We can shoot. I wish I could draw that thing to the camera top left. I guess there's no GUI layer. Oh, even better. Let's do draw. And then we'll do Johnny. Johnny's X and Johnny's Y so that we can see the number. So it'll be his X. And then we're going to go above him. So maybe like 100. And we'll show his, we'll just do HP then. Okay, and we'll see what that looks like. Okay, yeah, look, he's got 100 HP now. We can see it. Actually, we'll probably go back by like 10 pixels. And then we can go down by like 80. By 20, sorry. 20 pixels down. See what this looks like. Nice, look at, now you can see Johnny's health. Oh man, the game's, it's a completely different game now. You burn all these. Okay, I just, my game crashed, but it works. It does work. Do that damage to them. Nice, nice. And then we also have the shrink ability, and then we have the nose lengthen as well. We can still shoot while our nose is big. We can burn. Yeah, look at that, dude. We have a real Johnny game, dude. Look at that. Looks sick, man. Yeah, look at it. Already got a Johnny game going on. There's so much more. For some reason we got crashes. Let's try to figure out what the crash is. I think the crash has something to do with Johnny taking damage. So let's change our bullet. Yeah, I think it has something to do with that. It's something to do with the bullet change. Yeah, okay, so I think it's because we're not defining a variable correctly, so let's check her. Fire Shriek has, oh, it doesn't have damage, that's why. My bad. Equals 10 damage. 10 damage? Yeah, and then her Fire Shriek should be all around and more crazy, so let's go to the Nymph step event. Fire Shriek. Speed needs to be 5 to like 10. And dir equals dir. Oh, sorry. Fire direction is the, yeah, built-in variable equals dir. Okay, let's try that. And then we shoot, and then, yeah, she burns everywhere. Look at that. You gotta watch out for that fire. It's gonna hurt you. Look at, we took damage. We're taking too much damage. Nice. Okay, look at that, dude. Got a whole ass game over here. You can burn her for more damage. Makes it quicker. She dies a little too quick, though. Let's give her more life. Let's give her like 300 life. So what does she do? She takes... When she collides with damage, she takes whatever the damage is. So it's 5 or 1.5. What is that? It's going to be like 7 damage. 5 times 1.5. Oop, I did it wrong. Yeah, 7.5 damage. Okay. Maybe that's too... I don't know. Should our enemies have that much life? Gonna take more bullets. Let's give it a shot. Let's see what it looks like. Failed to replace icon. Alright. Nice. Now we take damage. Actually, perhaps I should do, since there's so much fire, I should make the fire damage only be like 5. So Johnny can take like 20 fire shots or whatever. We could even program it so that Johnny gets on fire and runs randomly whenever he takes fire damage. That could be kind of crazy. So look at that. We already have a Johnny game basically. So now we added some elements. We added the different bullet types, elemental bullet types, thanks to a great idea from Brent. Now they burn on fire when they die. We have health. We have our nose lengthened. If you were designing a level to be like, you know, more platforming heavy, we could use it so that it actually uses the nose length. Johnny could have more than just shooting spells. We could also have other spells. We can give him mana. You know, we could have a whole thing here. Maybe we will at some point. Maybe that's the goal of this. But right now, this is what we're working with. Look at that, beauteous. Perhaps he can go into his backpack and get stuff. It's actually endless. He's a real wizard. That looks so damn sick when they ignite. Dude, thanks. I'm glad you like it. It's going to be on Steam tomorrow. No. Yeah, you'll be able to put your money where your mouth is. We're cooking this up. Early access. You ready for it? I'm going to do $20. I felt like Jump Off the Bridge, you know, it's a cool game, but it really didn't have the value I was looking for. Not like a Johnny game. Not like a Johnny game could, you know. So that's what we need to do here. So wishlisted it the second it goes up. I can't wait. It's going to be the next market hit is what it's going to be. Crazy game. Crazy. Everyone's going to have to get used to using these mechanics. We got everything, the jank in here. Okay, we even got this amazing gameplay here. Like you can evade them. It's got a stealth section in it. It truly is awe-inspiring stuff here. Amazing work. Amazing work. Okay, so we got a Johnny game. We have a basic game. We can add obviously levels and stuff. I'll probably work on the Johnny game later. We're at 2 hours and a half. Something I do want to see is I want to try converting this game up to Gamemaker 2 to see if we can get into a modern Gamemaker. So let's save as. Where are we at right now? Yeah, this is Johnny's series, Johnny 1. Let's save this as Johnny 0. Oh, I thought I was in Johnny. Okay. Johnny 0 Fangame. We can save in Gamemaker 8.1. Yeah, let's see if we can convert it up. I'm curious. Alright, so first thing we gotta do is download Gamemaker Studio while we're streaming. Sounds like a great thing. Let's get that installed. And we'll see what we're working with. I feel like it was kind of a jank lesson, but I'm sure with my beautiful MS Paint stuff, you guys learned quite a bit. No, we don't need to save this. It's probably gonna have to connect to an account, so give me a second. I'll type it. You guys can just look at me for a moment while I launch Gamemaker Studio 1 and see if I can even convert, install net framework. And then we can also start putting the Johnny Fangames while I'm waiting for this to download in the right area. So we got new folder, Fangames. Because I did download like the entire series of Adventures of Mike. I don't think I'm going to play them today, but I will start getting those files together. So I don't have to look for some of them, I think. So, yeah. I have, yeah, Adventures of Mike the Great. That's what it's called. Adventures of Mike the Great. Got all of the... I don't know if these are all... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm assuming there's like 6 or something. I don't actually know. Oh, maybe this is Mike the Great 9. He really didn't name these very well. Now that I'm looking at one of them's named MTG. One's named SEA. Like I'm gonna have to look through these. I don't actually know if I don't know if these are named properly. All right, and we gotta download the Sally series later. Whatever. We got a bunch of stuff to do. Currently downloading the Net Framework. Hopefully that works. And we gotta download the other fan games later. We can do that later. So fan games, Johnny Fangame. Yeah. Oh, I have it in a folder already. Okay, whatever. Whatever. Scuffed. It's the way a Johnny game should be. Scuffed and beautiful. Oh, man. So yeah, if you have any questions, this is where you can leave a comment on the video or whatever way you can reach me. And hopefully that was a good foray into a little bit of Gamemaker 8.2. We sort of took a skeleton of Johnny, we made some changes to it, and didn't really do any level design or anything. But I kind of want to see if I can bring this up to Gamemaker Studio 2, the new one, because that would actually make it a lot easier to I mean, we can't even check array length with this unless I don't know how to do it. I can't see compile errors. It's a little weird. I'm basically walking through the dark to figure it out, so a little strange. A little weird. A little strange. Okay. That. Yeah, alright, I guess while I'm waiting for this to install, it says it's downloading required files. I don't know how much Gamemaker needs, but what do we want to add else to our Johnny game? Let's see, we could do a bullet effect. We could show the enemy getting hit. That we could do too. Yeah, we should do that. It's kind of annoying that you can't see when like a thing gets hit, so let's do a hurt thing for the nymph. Nymph hurt, and then she'll wave her arms as wildly as she can. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Give her some angry eyebrows. Well, now I gotta be angrier. And then we gotta change her eyes. And we gotta change her mouth. Perhaps these are where she gets the black eyes here. Angry. Bring her mouth to a point. Then we can draw these lips in there. Nice. Nice. Give her some eyes. Nice. Nice. I could draw the hands in here too. So, draw some hands. Okay. Some kind of nubby looking arms, but it's whatever. Perhaps we should change this hip look down here to I like that better. Oh yeah. She's swole, dude. That's what we're working with here. She's swole. Let's move this down. There we go. More proportional. Obviously, if there's something we're concerned about in a Johnny game, it's going to be the proportions. Let's give her some frizzy hair. I mean, I imagine my hair would fly up if I were damaged by something, you know, sporadically. Perhaps she's got some spikiness to her. She looks, her whole body tenses and turns angry for just a brief moment. Maybe that's how we gotta do it. Just tense and angry looking. As a nymph of the forest. Okay. Should we do an animation for it? Yeah, why not? The animation is going to be a bigger mouth. Oh, bigger mouth. No, that's too big. Too big. Way too big. There we go. Love it. Love it. Maybe we should do some spikes or something. Yeah. No, it doesn't look good. Nah, I like the open mouth more. Open mouth, scream, some bigger eyes. Okay, and then the animation is literally going to be moving her to the left. And then we're going to add more spikes. More spikes. Spiky. Perfect. Oh, and then she should probably turn red too to denote that she's taking damage. I think we can do this even better. Amazing. And then the nymph, so when she collides with bullet and she takes damage, if it's a normal damage, then we're going to set alarm. We'll make it like 3 to 5. No, we'll do 10. No, 5 might work. 5 might work. Let's try 5. And then we're going to do sprite index equals SPR nymph hurt. So she's going to go to the hurt sprite for a minute. Well, not for a minute, for 5 frames. And then alarm 3, we're going to do if sprite index equals SPR nymph hurt. Then we're going to set it back to the base sprite of SPR sprite index SPR nymph. Just the base nymph. Back to base sprite. There's probably way better ways to do this, but in our Johnny game, that's what we're going with. That's what we're going with. So now if I shoot her, yeah, she takes damage, she's pissed off. Look at that. And then when she takes a fire bullet, she gets inflamed and burns everywhere wildly. Look at that. Okay. So she takes damage now, so you can visually see when you're doing damage to her. And then if you burn her, she takes damage. We can do the same thing for Johnny, too. Later. I have a ton of ideas of what I want to do with a Johnny Fangame. I just don't know if I'll have the time to make one. You know what, dude? If you don't got the time, you're just gonna have to make not one but more. You know, if you got a ton of ideas. A Johnny game is something that can be peacefully done in the background of. It's like a walk in the park. You can spend 10 minutes on it here and 4 hours on a Sunday. You know, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't got to be a commitment. I think when we do the Johnny thing, the Johnny game jam, what we'll do is we'll give everyone like 2 weeks to do it, and then the same thing for the Addo game jam. We'll give everyone 2 weeks. So even if you got 10 minutes, we're still gonna make it work, Brent. We're gonna make it work. It doesn't. It's the Johnny games are beautifully in their own beautiful way, not about perfection. So I'm actually so used to the jank Johnny controls. It's actually a little bit difficult to get used to my new controls. So that's part of the beauty of the Johnny jank, I think. Part of the beauty. If we wanted to make this look a little more variegated, I guess I could do a random sprite index, but so much beauty in the Johnny series. I like my Johnny games so far. It's turned out pretty good. Do we get this done? Yeah. Close that. And then, do we have Gamemaker? We do. Alright. So let's do this again. Let me go to make. I'm loading. I'm trying to see if I can load this Gamemaker 8 file here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. It might be really jank. Import. User. My name. How do I get to the desktop? A lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Users. Public. We have public downloads. Gamemaker projects. Alright, I gotta put my Johnny game somewhere grabbable. So this is saved as Johnny Fangame 0 right now. So let's copy this. Let's just put it in my documents. Gamemaker. Okay, let's close that. Let's see if I can import it. So I need to grab this. It's a lot weirder for some reason. Oh, I see. Desktop is over there. Got it. Okay, that's bizarre. Alright, so it's in... Wait, am I trolling myself? Oh, it only says it looks for... Oh, it does look for GM6 files, too. Okay, this might work. We may be able to do this. I might need to go through 2 iterations, but... So... Documents Gamemaker. Oh, it doesn't search for 8.1 files. Can we just rename the file 8 then and see if it works? I don't know if that's going to work. But if we just rename it 8, it'll probably break the file, but let's see. Change it to that. Will it recognize it? Oh, it searches 8.1. Sorry, I didn't realize that. You gotta select it. Okay. Import? I'm importing old version. Okay. Did that work, or did I just crash Gamemaker? That would be really funny. It looks like it just crashed, bro. Okay. It doesn't like Johnny. It can't handle Johnny. Make. The Johnny game was so old It just completely destroyed the compiler. Import Gamemaker. Import. Oh, no, it worked this time. Okay, maybe I just had the wrong target cleaned. Okay. So here, I'll show you what I'm working with now. So now we're in Gamemaker Studio. And then can I save this? Okay. And then can we go to Modern Gamemaker? And open it up there. See if that works. Okay. Hold on. Go back to me for a second. I want to show my whole file system here, just in case. Documents, Gamemaker, projects, open. Oh, I have to import it. Oh, maybe I gotta export project as a GMZ. Yeah. Okay, I'm exporting it as a GMZ from Gamemaker Studio 1. And then import. Yeah. Documents. Gamemaker. GMZ. Okay. Okay. Okay, here we go. Nice. Alright, Johnny Fangame has issues. We're missing sounds. I don't care. We'll get rid of the sounds. We don't need any of these sounds, actually. Get rid of them all. Yep. Okay. We are now in Modern Gamemaker with our Johnny game. Does it run? Probably not. Oh, yeah, bro. We got problems. All right. Room 1. Create line? Oh, the room itself has creation code in it? Okay. Get rid of the creation code in the room. Okay, so wow, he put it in the creation code for the room. He's like, I'm gonna play it that way. Oh wow, okay, sorry, never mind. We got the next problem. Sound 12. Nymph. And we have alarm 1. Oh, it even converted everything to new. That's kind of cool. Sound. Abort. Okay. We have a collide with Johnny. Oh, dude, it even converted it all to code for me. That's awesome. I don't even gotta look at that jank anymore. What is that jank, though? What is this? B? Action if dice? What the hell is that? Is that a Gamemaker function? Oh, my lord. Alright, well. Nice. I hope this works. Okay, wait. Nice. Nice. Yeah, it works. Yeah, you just gotta do some shenanigans, but it does work. I have no idea what that is. Yeah, I think it's the, Wait, am I running 60 frames a second or something? Why does it seem like there's so much more Johnny happening on screen? There's a little too much Johnny happening right now. I don't know. Yeah, so you can just take... I guess what I can do is I can go into each of the Johnny things and import them into Gamemaker Studio and do the conversion so that I can make it easier for you guys. I'll do that. I'll do that after the stream. Maybe for tomorrow it'll be ready. I'll compile... Yeah, that way it's easier. I think what it did is when you scripts, compatibility, so whenever you bring up stuff up to date, it creates new things to make it work. So like, yeah, it's done some jank. It has gone through and done some jank to make sure that the Johnny games run in a modern thing. Yeah, see, now we have instance create because you don't have instance create natively. Yeah, we have action if dice, which just, randomizes stuff. Okay, we can obviously do modern random stuff. We don't need to use any of those variables, but they're there. So now our Johnny project is in the modern day. I can close this one. I'll go through and compile all those later. Which also means that we can use the level editor, which I actually prefer more, since now I can actually click, make them big, move them around. Like, that's a lot easier. And I can see what layer they're on. It makes it a lot easier to deal with. So, yeah, that's way better. So, yeah, we have Johnny now, dude. Look at that. We're cooking with fire now, literally. I feel like we are 60 frames a second, but maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy. How do I see the room? I guess I gotta click on the room. Yep. Room physics. It's pretty much the same. It plays like a Johnny game. Can I still do the shrink? I think I am 60 frames. It feels way too smooth. I also can jump like... Yeah, this is 60. We gotta change this. How do I change the frame rate of the room? Room speed, I guess? Enable physics. I've never even changed that before, I'm gonna be honest. I guess I can Google it. You can change the FPS and the game options by changing main options general. Main options. Standard is 60. The little cog in the top menu. What cog in the top menu? What are you talking about, bro? This? Oh, here we go. We spent 5 minutes in here. Amazing. Wait, whoa. General. Main options, general. Oh, frames per second. This is 30. Why does it feel like I'm beyond 30? Why does it feel like I'm too good? See, this is the difference between the Gamemaker. Yeah, I don't think we could do this in previous. This is a little out of hand. The conversion of gravity is wrong. We're gonna have to fix that on our own. Into something. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Johnny is too powerful. He's too powerful for some reason. Like, why can't I do that? Perhaps that's the jank. The beauty of converting it is that we get to deal with whatever that is. He's coming down eventually. Okay. I was going to say, what the? Alright, well, there's work to be done. We might have to work backwards to work forwards, I think. If that makes sense. But, yeah, I don't know what's letting me do that. I guess it doesn't matter because you can just, assuming you're on the ground. Oh, you can float? Yeah, I guess that's... We gotta deal with that. Johnny needs new code. Otherwise, we can just float everywhere. I think because the last one was checking, like, if position free or something. What does Johnny even do here? Oh, what is his jump? It's up, right? Key press up. Oh, it just sets his vertical speed to -25. We could do... Oh, man. Because we got to do, like... I want the head bop underneath the platform, too. So... We should do... We could program it the main way. So if... Place meeting... Yeah, we're going to have to do work. We got to do work. OBJ... What we could do... Parent... Oh no, because everything is solid. Oh god. All right, there's work to be done. you gotta work for your Johnny game. If you want a Johnny game to work, it's gotta work, bro. Yeah, we gotta do a bunch of stuff. We gotta do our own collision code probably. rather than use the built-in code. It's probably not going to work for this. Because I could do like if place meeting ground, then do it, and then make it like so that if he's touching it, I don't know. It's going to be weird. It's going to be weird. It'll be some weird stuff. Yeah, I was going to ask if you could make some kind of Johnny library that has modern Gamemaker version, contains Johnny movement code and whatever other necessary elements there are to make it a Johnny game. Yeah, I probably need to go in and sort of make like a base Johnny project with like just the basic jank that makes a Johnny game and then let people modify from there. So maybe I'll make a base one. Because, yeah, that's the problem, is that all the modern game makers are going to use slightly different V-speed. Because originally he was using the base built-in stuff, so it's not going to convert upwards to the modern day with the base work. We have to go back to emulate that by using modern code conventions. So whatever, we'll figure it out. It can't be that hard. It cannot. But this also means that it's going to be even easier. I'll convert all the files to modern stuff, but it means it'll be easier to do a Johnny remaster at some point. So we could do a Johnny remaster. That would be really appreciated. Yeah, I think it would also be better for people too, that just want to make a Johnny game without having to go through all the effort, but still keep some of the Johnny jank. So maybe I'll make like a base project and go from there. That might be our next goal. And then we got to do our Johnny level and jump off the bridge and then go from that. I think that's pretty much what I wanted to cover today. So we got good 3 hours in. We have our Johnny game, our base Johnny game. If you're using Gamemaker 8.2, you can obviously completely emulate the Johnny jank without any of the stuff. I just don't know how to view the like decompile errors yet. I'm sure there's a window for it. I don't know what it is. It's not intuitively that I saw anywhere. So that's what we're leading with today. So thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you learned something about game design. Obviously, great game design here. Johnny series has taught me a bunch of beautiful things about game design. So yeah, that's where we're going with. Maybe next time you'll see something slightly different, but that's what we got for Johnny for now. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for showing up. If you have any questions, you can leave them down below. If you want to make your own Johnny game, I have the links in the description of this. For at least, I have the decompiles hosted on Google Drive. I will put the new ones in there when I get to them so that people can use the easier. To be honest, one of the biggest advantages of Gamemaker Studio 2, besides it being free as well, is that we also have a much better level editor in the future. I would say actually the sprite image editor has decreased a little bit. We don't have some of the simple mechanics of like outlining and glowing and adding glows and stuff like that. But it at least is a lot easier to use the level editor, and I think that's probably the biggest change over time. We also have a lot more documentation, and it also explains a lot of the code errors straight from with the new feather system that they have in there. So thanks for everything. Yeah, thank you, Brent. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for being here. Looking forward to your game. And yeah, everyone check out Brent's game. It's now wishlist. You can wishlist it on Steam. Yeah, we might as well plug that while you're here. Hold on. Thirsty Princess. I just get a picture of you. That's the first thing that happens when I search Google. I get that Steam page on the charts. I'm getting a lot of weird. Oh my. You get a lot of weird things when you search Thirsty Princess Steam. A lot of weird things. Soon enough, you'll be on the page. Yeah, here we go. For anybody that wants to support Brent, you can go get Thirsty Princess here. I'm turning the audio off. I don't know how big it is. Let's see her trailer. Actually, I haven't seen it. Oh, man, look at this. She needs a man to step up. Step up we will. Dude, this looks great. You're doing a great job with all this art. And bring her beer. Amazing. I'm like super geeked for this, dude. Look at all that plot, dude. Stunning. Oh my god. This is glorious, dude. Can't drink too much. Gotta make sure you pee. Or risk it drunk. Bro, some of these shaders and effects are super awesome, man. This is super cool. Looking like a real official game from Fat Pint Studios, dude. Don't leave her thirsty. Bro, glorious, dude. You did a glorious job. I'll listen to it with audio later, but that is great. So, yeah, if you want to support Brent, he's here. He has a new game coming out. It's amazing. Yeah, when I type Thirsty Princess, I get a picture of you. It's the first thing. Look at it. There's a picture of you there. Probably because you're a YouTube video. And I get some other really sussy things. Especially when you type Thirsty Princess Steam. I get some weird stuff. Eat right to keep your blank tight. Level 50, armed and dangerous. Thirsty sword lesbians. The succubus queen and the holy sword. You got a tough market here. You got a tough market here. Anyways, yeah, close that. All right. Thank you guys for showing up. Have a great day. Take it easy. Have a good rest of your day, everyone. Thank you for coming on. Thank you, Brent. Good luck. Good night to you. And yeah, that's it. Go make a Johnny game. If there's one thing you got to do, make a Johnny game. Goodbye for now. Enjoy your weekend. I'll be back sometime. We'll figure it out. And peace for now.